Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and in this live stream, I've decided to put the PC VR version of Hellsweeper on. Now, unfortunately, my PC VR streams don't usually survive contact with the enemy, i.e. you guys, but I'm hopeful. We've got 60 frames. That's some of the frames, so the only problem that I might have tonight is summoning things. So, but that might as much be a PC VR thing as well. So, what are we doing tonight? We're going to be playing some Hellsweeper. I have just put the pièce de résistance and finishing little touches on my tips tricks video that you can find in the description if you have the game and you want to go through all of the bits and pieces that I've done. It was all the shorts I've done and made into one big video. So then I thought, okay, well maybe we'll do a fresh profile start. There is no way I am putting a can on the 100 odd hours, probably 150 hours that I've done on Hellsweeper on the Quest 3. So that leaves us with PC VR. We have a fresh level 1 profile, no things, no stuff, no nothing. We're beginning with sword, levitation, pistol, and the flame ability. We will not be using this. We'll be using this a little bit to help us out with the boss. We're going to be relying on these two. So, first things first. I've already set it all up. I mean, kill this guy because he's really annoying. He's really noisy. First things first, the way that I like to set things up, make sure that all support abilities that you can have are on, unless they really get in your way. You can actually, if you find yourself firing and then doing this a lot, because I've heard various people have that complaint, that's actually by pressing the right trigger, the right thumbstick in, is how you levitate your weapon. You can still use it in that mode, and it's still reasonably effective as well. Just another one of those little things that's very cool about this game that you can do. But whilst you're in the midst of combat and moving the sticks, you might press the right and left thumbsticks in, and this happening. If you are finding that happening a lot whilst you're in the beginning stages, just take the levitation support skill off, and then without it, you can't. It physically stop you. You don't have the powers of levitation. I mean, the problem with that is you miss out on the ability to summon and hurl rocks. So, thank you, Vega. No, I'll just get rid of it. This is one of the things I do have to do before we proper get into it. Is I want to keep some of the information on screen, but I usually just take everything off because I'm not a fan of big amounts of visuals. I don't need. Some of them I don't mind, and some of them I want to keep on for the thing that I'm going to show you later on. Show display HUD. Show player. Gone. Hopefully, is that gone? Probably gone. Hopefully that's gone. Right, okay, so I would highly recommend that you play with health and mana, and if you have it at the bottom of your screen, it's easy enough to see. To be fair, in this game you die fast in the beginning, so it doesn't really matter too much, but you also don't want to be paying too much attention to your hands either. You want to be paying your attention on fighting. So basically what we're going to be covering tonight is a lot of things that I've never mentioned within the... He's really loud in my left ear, my bad ear of the two. They're both bad. So one of the things that I've never really gone through is all of the little bits and pieces. So the way that I do things, right trigger, right swipe, or outer swipe I have for my pistols, inside I have for my magic, mainly for the magic that I'm using. Part of the reason being is because when you smash these together, you get your orb. And so that's why I do it inside, because a lot of the time I do inside and then smash them together. Hello, Awful. And I've put the sword on there. I'm not going to use it. I'm not a fan of the melee combat in this game. I think the magic and the gunplay is so much better, and the game is like kind of designed for it. Don't get me wrong, it does work and it's very cool, but when the magic's as good as it is, and when the, like, you know, the ability to do that, levitating something and then using it as a fucking lawnmower, and later on in the game you can get a lot of weapons just all around you, spinning around and doing all that nasty, and it's very cool. But that's the problem with the hand-to-hand combat stuff in this, I find at the moment, is, I don't know, I haven't played much with it and it's a bit gimmicky. So your guns and your magic is what will get you the work done. The other thing not to neglect is your hip and your shoulder slots. Now, we haven't got an awful lot of like bits and pieces to use here. Normally I like to put the bow in one of my shoulder slots, and then I'll keep bullets on my hip slot. The reason why this is important is there's skills that you can get later on that allows you to reload using those things. We're a ways away off of that. So let's begin, shall we? Let's actually play the bloody game. So, do not select empty loadout to begin with. To be fair, in the beginning... Actually, hang on. I mean, if you're just learning how to play the game, you would be better off, I would imagine, just going... So the difference between empty loadout and standard loadout... If you go for an empty loadout, you start out with nothing and you equip it all at the beginning. Whereas if you have an empty loadout, you have nothing and you have to put all of the things on you from the start. The problem with playing that way when you have nothing, the problem with playing that way is you could get some absolutely garbage weapons to start your run with, and even I would, like, you might get like just hand-to-hand combat weapons or rubbish magic, ice magic. So, but in the beginning, you could get yourself an extra 50% XP multiplier by putting empty loadout on, because you have no other choices. So we could do that, but we're kind of going from the beginner's perspective here. So we will start a new sweep. We will keep the game on normal. We don't have an option. You can drop it back down to beginner, which will affect the amount of XP that you get. You'll get a challenger's token, which is an extra life, 20% enemy health, 20% enemy speed, 20% enemy projectile. The only two... This is actually not useful to you, and I'll explain why as we play. But we're going to play on normal, because, you know... Oh, not you. I'm going to have to turn him off as well. The bug in this game is cool. He is literally...
Look for the stone hand to collect your starting skills.
Your earwig. You actually wear him inside and you can summon him. You can use trigger and outer to summon him, and then you can let go of him and he'll point you to things. This is all in the tutorials and various bits and pieces, but it's been a long time since I've even bothered using him. The only thing that I do with this little bug is, and that's where that Londoner's voice is coming from, yeah, very much critic bug. The only thing that I do with this bug is A, get pissed off with it from telling me how to do the game when I know, and I also use him on the bow. I use him as an arrow, and oh yeah, and I just throw him very, very far away. So, ugh. Normal human skin, although I've got a decent nail job looking going on there. Right, so this we shouldn't need. Retry a level upon death. Good. Now, one of the bonuses that you have, but you won't appreciate it until you are further into the game, one of the bonuses that you have in a roguelike is that at the start you have nothing, or not much. If you have not much available, but you know what's good and what's not, it basically means that you can concentrate on that. We have very little in the ways of blessings. Blessings are just an additional bonus trait for our character. They're always good, not always useful. I mean, actually, say that always good. Sometimes they can be a bit of a hindrance. This I will not be touching. Hang time. This is for those of you who do not want to be somersaulting and cartwheeling and flipping all over the place. Take this, and you can also, when you are airborne, get a two times bonus to all of your style side of things whilst you are in the air, and this allows you to hover there for longer. So if you are not upside down inclined, and as we know by now I very much am, then this is actually quite a good trait for you. So hover for 1 second during a jump by raising both hands above your head. So the usual commands that you would do for somersaulting, you can do, and it will just basically make you hover, and whilst you're hovering you'll increase your style. We're just going to take this because I like to go upside down. I think that's for dual wielding, that one. An update for all on board, you say? Have they got any new games, Beavis? And hello, Beavis. So what I'm going to see about doing here is I'll do, like, go through some various bits and pieces and some odds and sods, and then we will change it over to, yeah, I suppose we could call it Vega mode. Yeah, we'll change it over to Vega mode. No, I'm not talking about the colorblind thing, Vega. So already, even though I've got this on absolutely low, the graphics, like, the graphics are passable. It's this style of background that I want to see on the quest, and I think they can do it. So if you haven't been through the tips and tricks things, a couple of quick things to do. These blue totems turn into red totems. If you destroy them before they do that, then you will have an easier time during your fight. Basically what this game is a roguelike, and it is, at its, in essence, a series of arena fights with various objectives. There's always going to be these blue totems, and if you, instead of crossing the threshold, if you make a point of destroying them, then none of them can turn into red. And it's the red ones, the red totems, that turn into the nasty ones that shoot you and that blow up. So, or like do a pulse attack. The chests we'll talk about in a minute, but for now, let's see how many frames. Oh, I'm getting a pretty good amount of frames.
Or hide, as long as you stay alive.
So, first, one of the other things as well, you can't see. Oh, we're on survival. Hang on. Bear with. Because I want to get at least a good start going on this one. Now, a survival mode, you want to be basically hitting enemies and killing enemies as quickly as you can do. I'm doing a very good job of that, though. Part of the reason... Hello! Kick! Part of the reason why I do everything in this game upside down and flipping is because it's the hits that continue your combo. And not only are we in slow time, but whilst we're doing everything upside down, our style is multiplied. See those numbers coming up off of the enemy? Those are your combo. We want to keep that combo going so that we can get the maximum amount of style, which then gives us progression and cash. You don't have to do this, but this is how you get the big style scores. So there we go there. You should be able to see that. Headshot 1,050. Oh, sorry,
I can do
10,050.
this for all eternity.
Hey, he didn't moan at me. Yes, yeah, mate, I'm fucking, my stamina in VR's legendary. Who are you? You're just a fucking bug. So, well, it was legendary until I got ill. So, we want to be upside down as much as possible. Oh, hang on. It's all looking good on my end, Vega. Yeah, let me know if anything happens. It's PC VR. Just give it a refresh, Vega. So, yeah, you want to be upside down as much as you can be if you are comfortable with doing that. If you are not comfortable with being upside down, make sure you are shooting things whilst jumping, because that will give you 2 times the style. Always make sure you go after these orange totems. They are the ones that contain the keys for the chests. So if you've ever been shy of keys before, then that is your reason. Oh, he's had a bad day. Like, it's weird, the graphics on this. Like, obviously I know I've got everything set to low so that we can stream it, and like shadows off and everything off. But one of the things is like, some of the textures look awesome, but then other ones just look really lumpy. But overall, it looks all right. We might play, okay, we might play with the graphics setting a little bit, because it seems that the actual game itself is a little easier on my CPU than when I'm in the menus for reasons. So that's style covered, and it's basically keep your combo going by hitting or shooting things. Hello, Google Maps. Keep your combo going by hitting or shooting things. If you can be airborne, brilliant. You'll get double the style multiplier. If you can be upside down, per shot, you will get 4 times the multiplier. And then this game is all about how you finish things. So ideally, the final shot on things wants to be a headshot, or wants to be something that like dismembers them in some way. But a lot of the time, just having a high combo multiplier, it doesn't really matter how you finish them, but that you finish them within. So, Vega mode. Hold on to your butts. I'm going to probably lose all the frames. There we go. And it's obviously called Vega mode because I am well aware. I've seen Jamie's Kung Fu skills, and I believe he's able to do this, and this, and then occasionally this. So, there we go. But yeah, so we have... Unfortunately, I can't turn around and wave to you. Otherwise, I would probably present from this view. But this just gives you a different perspective on the action. And the reason why I call it Vega mode is because when I am upside down, I'm upside down, but the screen is not. Vega mode. Because I know you get sick watching me play this game. So, there you go. Now, let's see what my frames are handling it, actually. So, we'll see if it makes contact, survives contact with the real enemy, i.e. them. You'll also get an idea, or at least a different perspective on what I'm doing, that it might help the more advanced amongst you. I don't think it'll help the new start. So just in case you're wondering what this is the same kind of spectator mode that quite a lot of PC VR games have, where me wandering around, you get basically a third person view, but I'm actually doing first person. I don't think there's a way to me put the first person view. Oh, I'm not playing. I'm playing normally. You're seeing me in third person. So normally with these modes, there will be like a picture in the... I got to present to you because you're back there now. Hello, everyone. So normally there'd be like a picture in the bottom left or bottom right hand corner, which would show the action from my perspective as well. But so I'll let you guys, I know there's only a handful of you here, but I'll let you guys be the judge of this. I obviously don't, it doesn't matter to me. I'm playing in first person whether I want to or not. If you guys prefer this view, let me know. If not, I'll switch back and I may still have a PC. I may still have a PC intact at the end of this. That's annoying though. I might have to turn that off. If I make my weapons float, it brings up my frames. There we go, and then we can go hop and whip, ba, 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 ba. Fucking hell. I wonder if it ever will. And then we can give it one of these as well whilst we're upside down. Me and Von have had a lot of fun with the fact that your avatar can kick. So I don't think a lot of people know that you can actually do this, but there is the ability to put kick on to any of the buttons that you like, or, well, within reason, the Y, X, A and B. I just put them on Y and B. And I've got it set where you can make it so that you can kick in the direction your arms are facing. So, and obviously, you know, it doesn't look comedy at all. Not in the slightest. So, I celebrate with my legs in this game. Does it actually have a practical use? Well, yeah, kinda, but again, the problem is the magic and the gunplay in this game is so good that kicking is basically another way of doing melee. There's no mana associated with it, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does add to your hits and your combo. And let's face it, who doesn't want to be upside down while slinging magic one way and gunning things down another, and then putting a little kick in the face? So... No, I wanted to show this off though because nobody ever gets to see this, or at least I don't think I've seen anyone. The only problem is I don't know what view it gives you guys when I'm making my choices. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing. Kinda, I guess. Ooh, I'll have that though. Is that mine? Yeah. Whoop, see you later. As I said, some of the things, when in this third-person mode, look good. Others, not so much. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. The wall running doesn't look quite as cool as maybe later on. But, we can do this. But yeah, for all it's going to do, for all the practicality, it's going to do us. Okay, well, I'll try and inform you of my decisions. So I have the decision of the sword, money, or flame. It isn't just the choices that I'm making here that are a factor. When you pick up one of these things, which you guys, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it also says your next objective and also map modifiers. That is quite important. Don't take cash because you get so much more of that as you are playing, unless the other choices are absolutely garbage. We're going to be using a lot of fire magic, so using flame will be a good idea. So we're going to take that. Now, we've now got level 2 of that. But basically, when you start off with a weapon, initially, you have just level 1 mastery in it. It's level 2 mastery that then allows you to do the big boy stuff. And so we gesture to do our flamethrower attack. And we also can just summon the orbs, but where the true power of nearly all of the magics, I mean, blood magic is just great, but where the true power of all of the magics comes through is the orbs combining, pointing forward, and then pulling both triggers. that just reduces absolutely everything on the level. So, and it's the first spell that you get to be able to, and the technical term, people, is smush. To be able to smush the fireballs together, you have to have mastery level 2, which means you need to have upgraded your fire magic at least once in your run. As you play the game more, you will get the ability to start off with mastery level 2 when you get the level ups on weapons. I don't know what this is going to look like because we're inside a house. Oh no, it's managing all right. Cool. Right, so it's these totems that don't matter, because when we cross that threshold, they'll get all blocked off. But save ourselves a little bit of work, we might as well get them now. Now, the objective that we are on now, on that occasion, I was paying more to the fact that I want to use magic than I was to the actual objective. Elimination is actually, in the early days of your runs and your game, is one of the worst ones to go for. Reason being, there is a finite... It's like you're all behind me. There's a finite number of enemies. Because there's a finite number of enemies, it doesn't... I can take my time, but I won't be able to get as good a style as I can with, say, 40 seconds of unlimited enemies. So, with that in mind, we'll try and play this in a way where we'll basically try and get everything together and combo off of it. So these are your red totems. They are spawned from the blue totems. If there are no blue totems, then there can't be any red totems now, can there? Well, we're maneuverable enough that we can outmaneuver these guys all day. Little wall run, because it doesn't look very good for the oh yeah. Little wall run with some kicks. Hi guys. So we'll take out these totems first, just to make sure there's no red ones, and I'm going to try and get everything together. Those are the ones that explode, the ones that have the heart. If I get too close, it'll pulse and damage me. As I have said to a lot of people on this game, if you are playing this game and you are dying for no good reason, the likelihood is it is those red totems shooting you and you straying too close to them, because they do a fuck ton of damage. Right. So, 9 enemies. Oh, you know what? I didn't even open the chest on the last level. Right. Here we go. What we're doing here is we're literally going to just keep on casting. This probably isn't the greatest weapon to use, you know. No, we lost our combo already. The flame, in fact then, in that case, the flame side of things would be better for us to use when there is an unlimited number of enemies and it's about killing them quickly and often. Probably would have been better off with pistols there, but I don't know, I just wanted to do a little bit of magic. So there you go. Right. There's actually reason for me to use the silver here. One of the things that I didn't say in the chest video side of things, or something that occurred to me afterwards, is if you use a gold on a single lock chest, you can only get a reward of +2. I would much rather save 2 gold keys up for a double lock so that I can ensure that I get +2s out of it as well. And basically, this is your game loop. Come in, kill the stuff, clear the area, and then you will gain access to chests that you open. You put the various keys in, and then that will give you trait crystals or skill crystals. We've got another one over there. And it's those crystals that you upgrade your skills with. Yeah, we'll go for 1 silver. and 1 gold. The way that it works is where you... It's very difficult for me to move the camera. I wish I could put the camera where I wanted to. I'd put it like off to the side so I can wave at you. Anyway, so... And yeah, I don't think I've seen that episode of If That's Viva Loved League Von, but... So, the silver in this one will mean that this should be a +2. The gold in this one should mean that that choice is a +3. Unless it's different. So, mastery... You guys probably can't see that. 1 + 2. And then we got a shop. Typical. Absolutely typical. Right. This is where I'll switch back, because we're about choices now. We'll come back to doing some more of that mode, because it doesn't seem like it's having as bad a effect on things as I thought it was going to. So, one of the things that they did with the UI here as well, if you find yourself constantly trying to move to try and pick your next choice, it is your off hand, your non-dominant hand, that controls where the screen goes. It is your dominant hand that you use for picking. So, because the amount of times that I've been like, shit, come on now, I can get it, and it's moving because my hand's down here. So if you move one hand kind of in front of you, it's a bit of a weird system, but I suppose you get used to it. So with these sort of things, a lot of the upgrades that we're going to get for bullets aren't really that useful to us. So because they're not that useful and we're not really going to be making much use of them, we might as well concentrate on experiences gold, because I've got to remember that we've started from the beginning and we're leveling up here. Again, I'm not actually going to summon and manually reload bullets into my gun, or at least not in this run. So I'm going to go for the XP as gold because, well, I don't need anything really. We'll also get a shop visit as well. It's always worth a shop visit because you might get something good. However, you do want to be saving your coin in this game for some very good reasons. Let's have a little look round the level and make sure I'm getting a nice 80-90 frames a second now. The wall running usually looks great, but in that third person mode it's a bit weird. So, and yeah, I don't worry about the fan on my computer, Jamie. I'm too far away and I've got headphones on. If it is singing its last swan song, I'm not going to hear it. So anyway, right, so we've got our upgrades, we've got our various bits and pieces.
How high the reward?
Style kill bonus, we want that in the 60,000, so we are well off of the pace there. The reason why we want it in the 60,000 is that's the maximum amount of cash and souls that you can get now. It used to be 45,000, it's now up to 60,000. Bear in mind that first level that we did, I think we were maybe about halfway there. It is harder to get the maximum style bonus on the early levels, but as you get certain levels that have unlimited spawns and no time limits, or much longer time limits, and you're much more powerful, you can do a lot more. Now, because we are quite pathetic and weak at the moment as a character, yeah, they come up rare enough and they're usually not something that I would take. So I'm going to take the health up. Oh yeah, I don't need to hold it. I'm going to have to remember when I'm in third person and when I'm not. So we're going to have to go... Well, that's all right, Vega. I'll just keep airborne. Again, though, it's like legs in VR. They have definitely not nailed. It always looks either really, really stiff or looks like everyone's got rickets. And there's no in between. Like Windlands 2. All the characters have rickets. They're obviously dad runs.
This is where your hard work.
What else? Contractors.
Obols are for
like stiff leg dad run sort of thing.
Something special. You'll need to spend some souls.
Yeah. Get
and
this
don't
out.
Forget,
Get
no
the...
refunds.
Yep. So, This is quite an important thing to your progress, and it's something that I don't think is covered anywhere really in the game, is that the amount of cash and the amount of souls that you have at the end of a level is converted based on the end of a chapter, and then at the end of a run is converted via the multiplier, and the multiplier is raised by raising the difficulty and adding various different bits and pieces in. Ergo, the more money you have, because you're going to collect souls and there's nothing that you can spend them on, but the more money you have, the quick at the end of a level, at the end of the chapter or at the end of a run, the more level ups the more experience you will get. I believe that is your overall experience. I don't know about the weapon experience. I don't know if those two XPs are linked, but as a general rule, try to avoid spending shop money if you're looking at just trying to get as far as possible, because you're getting into game and learning the weapons and stuff. Yeah, buy it all, go off to your heart's content, do the refreshes and do all the bits and pieces. But if you are after run completion, efficiency, and like longevity overall, then you don't want to. There is one exception to that, and that is these jade keys, especially in the beginning of the game, because in the beginning of the game you don't get a lot of keys. What these are capable of is they act as all gold keys for every lock to a chest. That means that there is only one time and one time alone that we are going to use them for maximum efficiency, and that is on 3 locked chests, or 3 lock chests, because then it basically saves us 3 gold keys. If you have a couple of jades as you are progressing through your run, that will then save you enough keys that you'll be able to open everything with golds for the rest of the run. We like this because this is one of those games where you can become stupidly powerful very quickly, and even more so if you know what you're doing. We will give it... no, we won't. We'll save the money. So, whilst you're here as well, a couple of things to note. You can go onto your weapons, their various attachments and their bits and pieces, and you can sell them. Here, I can sell this trait, and if I remember rightly, if you sell it, it sells all. So that 500 obbles, I'll just call it the 500 cash. That 500 cash that they're going to give me is for 2 XP is gold trait things, I think. It's not a lot of cash in the grand scheme of things. It won't make any odds. You are able to as well do your forging here. So if you have enough of a given combination of traits to be able to forge to something better, you can do it here by going onto here, going into the inspector, and going through these bits down here. Hopefully we'll get a chance to have a look at that. This is what I was also talking about as well. Mastery 2. This is the rank of the weapon. The rank goes up to a maximum and then stops. So I think most of the magic goes up to like rank 7 or rank 8, and that is your like meta progress. That is your actual progress of, you know, the weapon system, be it melee, magic, missile, what have you. It's the mastery below that are the level ups that you get as you go through the run. That distinction is again not explained but quite important. So let's carry on, shall we? I'll do a couple of levels and then we'll change back to third person again, just to keep it interesting. I'm actually really keen to look back through the stream. I mean, I usually watch my streams back. Obviously love the sound of my own voice twice. Once when I'm doing it, and then an instant replay. Right, so what we've got to eliminate enemies. All right, we'll learn from what we did last time then. We want to stay away from magic because it is just too bloody powerful for the finite amount of enemies. We're going to be able to get a lot more hits and a lot more precision on the finishing shot with pistols. So, but again, we are on the threshold. Make the level easy for yourself. Destroy every totem that you can see. And then destroy these ones at the back, because then you don't have to come back for them. I can't see... Oh, there's another one. I can't see any others. And what... Oh, there's one. And then, as I said, what that does is then it just basically reduces the difficulty of any level that you step into instantly, because there can't be as many environmental hazards. Not every one of those blue totems changes into a red one. I think the further you get through the game, the higher the percentage. If there are no blue totems, they can't change into red totems. The other thing as well, blue totem with a pistol, 2 shots. Red totem, 5 or 6. It's just quicker.
More demons.
Oh, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ugh. So inefficient. So this is what, again, when I'm kind of playing safe, which I'm going to do to begin with, because obviously, you know, I'm trying to show some things off and do some bits and bobs. When I'm playing safe, I usually will, especially on these easier levels. They're not going to stop me either. Go round the level and eliminate all the nasty stuff, just so it doesn't get me. Hello, Tass. Just so that it doesn't get me and just doesn't make the level any more difficult than it needs to be. So what we will do, though, is we'll gather them all up, we'll get ourselves upside down, and we'll shoot them, because we're limited on the number of enemies. There's only 6. So 1, 2... There you're alive. Come on with you. Try and finish with a headshot. And flip again. There we go. I mean, it is cooperative task, but I mean, you can get it by all means. I'll play it with you. I'll play it at some point with you, but I'll most likely do it on Quest. So, but yeah. Not tonight. The one thing that I will say is the cooperative, it does have some connection issues from time to time. It works usually quite well, but I don't know. On top of everything that my PC is trying to handle, and then I'm going to put streaming on top, there should, when I have my internet upgraded, there should be a time where I can do it all. But yeah, I think I've been told that this one's been... I think this one's on sale at the moment as well. I didn't check before I came on stream, but I'm not here to sell the game. I'm here to play it. Yeah, now that you've got that, I'll see about getting on that with you at some point. But then this is part of the problem. I'm slowly starting to think that, well, definitely for a streaming point of view, my PC's a bit garbage. Yeah. There is that. So one of the things that it is going to be worthwhile doing later on, but doesn't matter now, is smashing corpses. And also, just in case anyone wants to wonder what these are blood crystals. You do not need to worry about those. They are not part of the game for you at the moment. They're just something, they're just a visual at the moment. You don't need to worry about them whatsoever. That is an overshadowing to the most powerful magic in the game. We're not going to see that tonight, because I don't think I'll be able to get that far. So again, the jade key would unlock all the locks on a chest. There's only one lock here, so the choice is obvious as far as keys is concerned. And then this isn't going to give us... Oh! Why am I getting that straight off the bounce? Maybe there is just a random chance of getting it then. Interesting. Okay, so we've just unlocked probably one of the best skills in the game. This is the entire reason why I have the bullets on my shoulder and hip slot, is that now I can reload just by putting my guns up and down. Just us. And although the reloading is pretty good, nothing's as easy as reloading like that. And you also get the benefit of powering up the gun. And if you then take magic and infuse the gun whilst it's powered up, you get explosive bullets. Very cool. You don't normally get explosive bullets. You don't normally get explosive bullets when you infuse a weapon. But if you then manually reload it, you do. And if we manually reload now, when we point down or up, we count as manually reloading. The only problem that I found with the Libertarian skill, which is the skill that we now have on, it's probably the best one for the gun, providing you have bullets on the hip and shoulder slot. One of the best features about it is the additional damage and the easy reload, and these reloads cost us no mana, which again is another very important factor. If you have ever been in the middle of a fight on this and you're desperately trying to reload your guns and they're not having it, because the game is actually quite responsive in that, the likelihood is because you're out of mana. One of the problems with the Libertarian skill is what's happening now. It's quite sensitive as to where the hip and where the shoulders are, and you can often find yourself fire, reload, fire, reload, fire, reload if you have the guns too close to your hip, or... oh, it doesn't work as bad with the shoulder. So if you are going to use these techniques, have the guns really far out in front of you, and then there's no chance of them continually reloading. I do all the time, if I'm honest. So I might even, with that in mind, because it feels like it's just the hip one that's a bit dodge. And I usually reload with up anyway. So, but when I get the bow, I'll change that round. Any chests? Wouldn't matter anyway, we ain't got any keys for them now. I don't think there was any other chests. Hello, Clueless. How we doing? I said get familiar with the ability of picking things up and smashing them into walls, especially bodies. Again, foreshadowing of a very cool skill within this game later on, but you don't need to worry about that side of things yet. But getting good with grabbing and levitating things is a skill that will pay dividends. We're about 1/6 of where we need to be, and so we don't get much in the way of cash or souls for that. But it's okay, it's early doors. Now, here is an opportunity that I've been talking about. All three of the objectives for all three of these choices are the same objective. They're all totem, which is probably, yeah, it's probably the best kind of objective that you can have. And the reason being is you can fight the enemies infinitely, which then means you can get your style where you need it to be to, and then finish the level off in your own time. We don't want bullets, we don't want sword, because we've already got the thing that we need for bullets, so we'll upgrade the gun. Compact magazine is what I always push. Do bear in mind that as you are adding all of these different things, there is a mana cost. I know a lot of people have felt that since they added mana cost to a lot of these things, that their guns are bugged out or their magics are not working properly and they're constantly being drained of all their mana. The reason being is because you've got too many traits on towards leveling up the weapon and not enough to reducing its mana cost. So do bear that in mind. We now have, I know a girl who has a 7-shooter. Yeehaw! So we now have a 7-shooter. Let's get to this next level. And I'll do this next one, and then actually no, this will be a good one. This will be a good one. This will be a good one. Right. Put where's Vega mode? Vega mode activated. So I'm going to go and have some fun now. Obviously, I was having fun previously. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. There we go. I would try and talk to you, but the camera keeps on moving away from me, so... never mind. I haven't even got a PSVR 2 headset. Clueless. So, but the problem that I have with that is I assume it's wired. No thanks. I had PSVR 1 and I thankfully cut the cord. That I hate cords. I hate cords. Don't want them. Right. Another thing to note as well, before you go into a level, your mana is still affected or effective. If you cast your guns before you go into the level, you are saving yourself casting your guns when you are in battle. That saves you mana. If you were to enchant your guns just before you cross the threshold, that again saves you mana. If we were going in and we were going to use some magic, one of the other things that we could do is we could actually cast some spells into the level before we start, and that again, if you let your mana come up, is also saving you mana. But we'll just cast the guns for now. Now, as long as I keep collateral damage down, we should be pretty much weapons free here. The way that this objective works is when you destroy all of the totems, the enemies stop spawning. You then kill the rest of the enemies, level complete. How can we make use of that? Or we just won't kill the totems, will we? When you are in the throes of things, whilst you are casting lots and lots of magic, a lot of the time you can accidentally destroy the totems. If we stay away from them, whilst we are... Oh, now it's going to tell you. There we go. If we stay away from them, whilst we are fighting everything, then, yeah, we don't need to worry about the totems. And again, we still want to try and be as efficient as possible with our comboing. Isn't it just? This is on PC VR Clue, so a little bit of a outing for me. It's not that I want to like PC VR. The big problem that I find is it's just also fucking inconvenient a lot of the times. And inconvenience is something, as somebody does a lot of streaming, I don't want, as it happens. You can see that even if we stay on the ground, we can get quite a decent combo together. Because our reloads are not very fast, and because we haven't got a lot of bullets in the clip magazine, well, it's chamber, I guess, it can often be quite difficult to keep your combo going at this stage. So you've just got to take it in little slices. And the other problem that you'll have is sometimes the enemies don't spawn quick enough for you to be able to put your shots into them. This is where you use a combination of slowing down your shots and going 1, 2, 3, 4, and being like trying to stagger them out. For those of you who have played In Death Unchained and are Siege of Heaven fans, you should know what I'm trying to explain here, where you kind of like feather out your kills so that you can be constantly shooting things and constantly scoring hits to basically keep yourself in combo. You'll also see that one of the other things that I'm doing as I am landing is putting myself, so like we lost combo, then we're back down to 2 times. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. One of the... Ooh. Alright, fine. Hey, yo! I wonder if that actually looked any good. I think you're too far away. I can't get him. That didn't look so good. Have at you with a wheel. So as you can see, because the enemies are just going to keep on spawning, and because we're at a reasonably easy point in the game, i.e. the start, as long as we keep moving, like with most VR games, they won't really be able to hit us. We're too maneuverable for them. We can just keep on jumping around, flying about, wall running, and just being out of the way. Those guys are a little bit more harder, but there isn't anything particularly nasty to upset our day at the moment. So we will try to carry on feathering the kills. Right? That's me! That's me! That's me! I'm the character! I would make a terrible stop-go motion puppet / dummy. As I said, I'd like to think that it looks cool, but I think the only thing that I can do that looks cool is this. Spready to the gods. And that's about as far as coolness and me goes. Yeah, but like with most of these sort of things, it is something that you can conquer and get over. Just gotta keep on playing. Just gotta keep on playing. Like, if you already have your VR legs, again, it's potentially part of the reason. It is about. Hey! It's potentially part of the reason why this game never really... I don't think it ever got the praise it deserved. It's because of what could potentially be considered either a, I don't know, not a skill gap, but like, you know, the big thing about this game, especially for me, is the actual going upside down of it. That's some terrible shooting. You'll also note as well that I am going into slow motion on demand. Oh, lost combo. And the way that I am doing that is when what you guys can't see, because I don't think it looks very good, not from a streaming point of view and not from a video point of view. But when I hold up on the right thumbstick, I get a little bar appear that shows me where I'm going to jump to. I've played the game enough to know where that bar is going to be indicating, and I don't really need to know exactly where I'm going to land. I'll be like, you know, I can jump like that and I'll be over here somewhere. That's fine. That's all I need. But then what it does is it cleans things up. What you can do, though, is if you hold up on the right stick at any time, it puts the game into slow motion. Ooh. It is draining my mana slowly, but in my opinion, humble, as it always is, that is much better than the actual bullet time that you can put on, because I know you guys are seeing third person at the moment, so you won't be able to appreciate it, but it puts quite a big effect. Thanks, Vom. Puts quite a big, not obnoxious, it's cool looking effect, but it's just one last thing that I want on the HUD. Thanks very much. I imagine you can probably turn it off, but then even then. Hey K2. Hey look! I got 7 shooters. It's a 7-shooter, Kim! As soon as I got the upgraded magazine for the old revolvers, I was like, I know a girl who's got a 7-shooter. She says yeehaw. Go on, Kim, ask. Go on, Kim. Go on, Kim. Go, ask. Yeehaw. And then you're gonna ask, how are you playing this in? How are you playing this in third person, Rob? Oh. So, as you can see, this is still the same level. I don't think, because I'm like kind of pissing about a little bit, I don't think this is going to be anywhere. I mean, we're not going to be far off of the score, but what we want to do is we want to basically gather them up, and then, as I said, yeah, PC VR, and there's a cool spectator mode in it as well, but we want to gather them up, get them all around us. Yeah, it's Vega mode. Look, see? I go upside down, he doesn't. Vega mode. And for those of you who are expecting me to jump up onto here, grab hold and then go, ah! I could do that if we wanted to go for the full Vega effect. As in Vega from Street Fighter. But I don't think we need those sound effects, if I'm honest. So I dare say my mic could cut that out. Anyway, right. Are you? Now let's slow things down a little bit here. Shot, 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 shot. There. Oh, we like it when they block. That's what that yellow bar indicates. Because when they're blocking, they take less damage. And so, more hits. That still wasn't very good. Let's go again. As long as you are hitting an enemy every 3 seconds and you've got even more time to play with. Yeah, no worries, awful. Oh dear. Yeah, don't let me get in the way of gaming downloads. Jesus. Be hell up. So yeah, as long as we're slowly but surely adding shots on. There is a little claret. And hello, Bayad, welcome to the stream. I have spilled a little claret on the carpet. Oh, we lost our combo again. So yeah, that's, again, during these early stages, it is quite difficult because you haven't got enemies that have got a lot of hit points, and so it can be quite difficult to feather the enemies, but I mean, we've been going for about, I don't know, 5 minutes now. Like, that's 2,200 points. So as long as we do like 30 kills like that, then we'll be getting the style that we need. But this is why, because even if I'm not doing combos and getting lots of kills and lots of hits and doing it all... Oh, we haven't done a backflip yet. I'm not going to do a backflip either. I haven't seen backflips. Or not in the third person mode anyway. Hoppa, oops. Hey, oops. Right. Oh, spready to the gods there. Lovely. But yeah, as long as we're getting a decent amount of style here, we should be fine. But we don't need to be upside down. Hell, you don't even really need to combo. But this is the beauty of any level that has unlimited respawns. This one, the timed events, and sacrifice. Well, yes. For you, maybe. I'm still seeing it from first person. You guys just get to watch from third person. I mean, if you want to go and tickle your tummy, Kim, do that on your own time, alright? I'm not here to tickle your fucking tummy. I'm here to play some Hellsweeper and tell people what to do. Is that all the enemies again? Yeah. So when you get, the further you get through, as well, as I said, the more HP the enemies have and the nastier they are. So you can just like be basically killing one whilst several others are like, these are not a bad one. Skulls for the skull throne indeed. Cornflakes and everything. Silver Tongue Devil cares not wherefrom the blood flows, only that it flows. Be it on the carpet. Or anything else. Oh, we should be using that, really. So, here's the only problem. I think we're just about done here, I reckon. Here's the only problem with the libertarian trait. is it increases the amount of damage that your bullets do, which then means that you can't combo as easily and you kill things quicker, which means that you can't get as many hits on them, which is a problem, because the more hits that we can get on something, the higher we can get our multiplier and the more points we can get towards our style. Anyway, but later on, that doesn't really matter too much anyway, because the manual reloading, the ease of, and the fact that your reloads no longer cost you any mana all trumps that. Well, I think that'll do us. And so we'll just kill these totems. Oh, actually, we might as well use magic. And this is basically how you use fire magic correctly. Put them together, smush them, fire them out, and with the totems you need to hit them. With anything else, you want to be trying to make the fireball go past them, because you can see all of those hits that we're getting. And yes, if I was upside down, all of those hits would be ×5. So if I fire a fireball and then flip by it, you'll see that every single hit that's hitting these guys here is ×4 as opposed to ×1. And so that can get you a decent amount of XP as well. The reason why we haven't been doing that, because it might seem like the better weapon to use whilst we're getting our, you know, harvesting the level, is because of this. You fire the fireball and it hits something nearby which does damage to the totems. At the very start of the game, I don't want to kill any totems because I want to keep them alive so that I can harvest the level. Easy job.
Conjuring a new gun might work, but it's
Shush!
aren't durable.
Gonna have to turn him off in a minute. He's already starting to get on my wig. Right, let's go and have a look at the chests, and then we're going to have a look at the stone hand. Oh dear. Okay, we haven't got very many keys. Shit. God, that's really not generous, is it? So we need 4 keys here. I am not going to waste a jade, because that's basically the equivalent of as many locks as we have. So that's the equivalent of, and we will get 3 lock chests. So, and obviously, you know, if you only put 1 key in, then, you know, it'll just stay there and the chest won't open. Just in case anyone was wondering, yes, I've done it. Just a test. Right, let's take that off. Give the old PC VR a break. So yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any upgrades. Be Stonehand. Style kill bonus 206,000. So that's about 3 times more than we need. And you'll see that I got a massive coin explosion and a load of souls for doing that as well. Should have worked out at 3,000 coin, 100 souls, which isn't a massive amount in the grand scheme of things, but bear in mind you can get that out of every level, and as you make the game more difficult, you get more levels per chapter, more levels per chapter, more style, more coin, more soul, more coin, more soul, more level up, get more powerful, rinse and repeat. Easy! And that would tell me that we are on the level just before the next level will be the boss. We're on the level before the boss, the penultimate level. And the reason being is when I'm looking at these next objectives, they've all got exclamation marks next to them. And what those exclamation marks mean is that we are going to be going to an infinite corridor. Let's get the fireball. With magic, if it is magic that you are planning on using, you do really want to be taking the 5-finger discount trait as often as possible, because it just straight up reduces the mana cost of things, which then means that you can do what I'm doing without having to stop. and you'll hear that noise in the background indicating that I've run out of mana. But if the spell costs little enough, your mana will regenerate faster than you can expend it, and so you can get the fire rate. Like every now and again you'll kind of miscast because because you can't summon a fireball because you haven't got the mana. But by having either A, more mana, or B, reducing the mana cost of your spells, basically means that I can do this, that summon 2, squish fire, summon 2, squish fire. I've got techniques to be able to do that ridiculously fast, and you can go as fast as you like as long as your techniques are good and practiced. What holds you back would be either A, your mana stat, or B, the cost per shot of, well, in this circumstance, the cost per summon of the fire orb. So like, you can see how quickly my mana drains down with something like flamethrower, which, although the flamethrower is insanely cool, it's just way too mana intensive, even when you've got it like mana reduction on and such.
Find a way out of this dismal labyrinth.
Right. So this is the infinite, the infinite corridor. Basically what it is it's a level. So quite a huge level as it happens, and it's just lots and lots and lots of corridors. And you always play the same level, but then there's different configurations of it, and so certain pathways will be blocked off and others will be open. And then various rooms will have... The rooms usually have the same chests and the same totem arrays in, but then they can obviously be like reds or yellows or what have you. I think that's fairly random. This is what we're saving our jades for. Now, one of the things that I would also say, and when we open a chest and we get these things, we get to keep all of these. This isn't a choice, we're just getting them all. So that is a substantial amount of cash. That's like, 3/4 of 10k, 75 grand. That's 7,500. That's a good amount of money. And then as far as the sword is concerned, I have it equipped. I'm not going to be using it for a lot of these choices. Again, I'm not going to be using it, so it doesn't really matter which one I go for. We'll take silver core just because it's got no mana cost. This is what I want. XP is gold because it'll level up the weapon faster. Part of the reason why I don't like melee is because, as I said, they're not very damaging and they're a lot of effort. Because a lot of the time, the problem that melee has is you get absolutely pounded by stuff at distance. Now, you can block in this game, and you can also fire things with a lot of the hand-to-hand combat weaponry in this, but, you don't take a knife to a gunfight or a magic fight. You take guns or magic to those things. And so the problem that a lot of melee weapons suffer from is it's a lot of effort to do their range attacks. Whereas with guns, you can just pull a trigger, or with magic, you just hand gesture and cast. So, we need more keys. So, one of the other things to note with the infinite corridors as well is you want to do the entirety of the infinite corridor and look down every corner and crevice, especially for these, to get as many keys of different varieties, preferably gold ones, as possible before you start opening any chests, because you might end up using a load of silver keys on these chests because that's all you have, and then through the level you might find nothing but gold keys, and then you've kind of wasted a decent opportunity to power yourself up. We don't need to worry about blue tokens transforming here, and we can also, hello Bucky, we can also take all of the totems out from a distance without worrying about them. Now, these little ambushes, in the early days can be difficult. I would highly recommend using your explosive magic, and for these there are magic types that you can use to kind of harvest these enemies and do well out of them, but we just want to survive here because you can, as I say, die if you're not on things incredibly quickly. Sorry, no keys this time, but I might have a word with the devs. Problem is, I've kind of finished the job now, and hopefully payment is on the way. So as you can see, style kill bonus, not very good, but we're not really too bothered about that because each one of these encounters will give us a guaranteed upgrade. If we can get the maximum amount of coin and souls out of that, happy days, but we would really struggle in these tight confines, and we haven't got the weaponry to do it with a finite number of enemies. That isn't a bad shout. Extra souls will give us more unlocks, but if you are playing this right, you will nearly always have more than enough souls to do all the unlocks. But we are just starting. I would say personally it is more important to make yourself more powerful during the run, unless you're, I don't know, getting up to a boss that you know that you can't do, in which case go and check out my guide, plug, or my tips and tricks videos, because that's got how to do all of the bosses in it. So we shall continue, and as I said, we're going to destroy all of these so we can take stock. He'll carry on just firing those at me, but as I said, as long as we're not too close to him, he won't engage. And you don't need to worry about any of these blue ones turning into any nasty stuff. Another thing that you might not like, look at all these yellows, that's what we want to see! Another thing that you might not be aware of, all of the guns have an alternate fire mode. If you fire it normally, it just fires a single shot. If you turn it on its side, it fires a shot that ricochets. If you hold it two-handed, it fires a more powerful piercing shot. These are what you use for breaking guards, but again, I'll be honest with you, with how the game is designed in style, I never want to break guards, because whilst an enemy is guarding, he doesn't take as much damage, which then means he takes more hits, which then means that I can get a higher combo, the combo leads to style, the style leads to golden souls, and blah 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 blah. We've got a little bit more room to work with here. How many enemies? 11. Ow. Let's get these sorted first. Just in case anyone was wondering, it doesn't really make too much odds. If you fall off of the level, you'll just respawn and you take a little bit of damage. If you fall off at an inopportune moment though, it can get you killed. Been there, done that. Right, let's see if we can gather these boys together, and we'll use the pistol and we'll try and kill one and then feather the rest out. More enemies! There they are. And then as I land, what I like to do after, I'll talk about the, missed it. So the other thing that I like to do as well, to make sure that you always get a better style score, when you leave the air, you have 2 jumps to begin with. Each jump allows you to flip, and when you land between those 2 jumps, you are then able to do another 2 jumps with another 2 flips with all the slow time and all the bits and pieces. What I like to do is I'll do my first jump, do my second jump, and then as I'm landing on that second jump, that's where you then hold up on the thumbstick to put it into slow motion before you start jumping and getting it again. Again, it's part of the reason why I like doing the flips in this game. Not just because it's cool, but because it is more efficient on your mana, leads to more style, and you know, you get slow time for free, and yeah, all that good stuff. And yes, the cooperative. So the only thing that I'll say about the cooperative is the cooperative is good, but that's because the game is good. The cooperative doesn't really add anything to the game. It's another one of those games where it's like, if you like the game, playing with a friend is always going to be fucking fantastic. Doesn't matter. But it doesn't really add anything. It's almost like then, it's like basically one of those games where there isn't any teamwork or like sense of team play or anything along those lines. It's just you and a buddy playing through the game together. There's no sort of like, you know, launching each other up into the air to do something spectacular. There was in one of the trailers, and I've seen it, the ability to combine magic with your friend and get other additional spells, but I think that was removed from the game because I've tried it and it doesn't work unless I have missed something. So, although yes, you're quite right, bullying NPCs is always more fun with somebody else. That wasn't bad. That's 1/3 of what we need as far as the style kill bonus side of things is concerned. Don't need these really now. I don't need that. And 50 souls isn't a bad number, so we'll take that. Very important point with these corridors: never ever exit through purple or red portals. The reason being, purple will take you to the boss, red will take you to the level, because you can get these infinite corridors. You will always get an infinite corridor because this is basically designed to power you up before the boss. You will always get an infinite corridor before the boss. You can get oh, 2 seconds. Hold on, let's just kill these a second. Sorry, I was listening to what you guys were talking about as far as the cooperative is concerned. I'll return to that point in a minute when I try and remember it. So, yeah, it's as far as the slow time's concerned, it's not too bad. The way that it works is when you jump into the air and go into slow time, you basically get a sphere around you, and anything that is within that sphere also acts in slow time. So one of the ways that me and Von, this is why I shut up about what I was talking about and want to talk about this. The way that me and Von played it was, Von was coming up and leveling up all of her bits and pieces, is I would basically somersault near her to slow time around her so that she could just easily deal with all of the enemies. So in that circumstance, it was cooperative, but that was more along the lines of me helping someone level up that was playing at a difficulty that they really shouldn't do and trying to even the odds. The game isn't really designed around like anything like truly cooperative. Like, you know, Dungeons of Eternity is a good example. That has got some things where you need, I mean, you can do it single player, but there are things that you can do in that game. Like, for instance, the game seems made for the multiplayer element, in that when you've got the map in your hand, it's a single. When you throw it on the floor, it's nice and big that everybody can see. And Dungeons of Eternity just feels a little bit more like a cooperative experience, whereas this game is a single player that has had a cooperative added. As I said, though, don't get me wrong, the cooperative is very good. So there was rumours at one point that they were going to bring it up to a 4-player cooperative, but I'll be honest with you, the arenas are just way too small. So no, the cooperative is good. The only problem that I've had with the cooperative, so yeah, no, that is actually an element as well. So, well, yeah, but then when you're playing with me, it's not even then co-op, is it, Von? It's like, yeah, if it's blood or pistols, I'll have it. You can have the rest. Von gets such an easy time. Oh, yeah, I probably should have gone for gold for that. Von gets such an easy time. She doesn't have to make any choices. So, I suppose ignore a lot of what I've said, and I'll say this game was made as a single player, and cooperative has been added so that two people can play together. Proper cooperative games, you know, they are made from the ground up in that regard. Don't get me wrong, but I'd much rather have cooperative in a game that doesn't need it than, you know, not have it in a game that does. All day. The only thing that I will say about the cooperative is I have had, but I think it's more of a connection issue between me and our own Siobhan, and we've had various issues connecting to each other on that game, but it just seems to be us. So I think there's still some kinks that they're working out. The one thing that I will say is it always works itself out in the end. We've never been able to, we've never gone on to a cooperative session and not been able to play cooperative. It's just taken a couple of restarts from time to time. So we'll go with cooperative magazine. Cooperative magazine, compact. By taking multiple of the same in some circumstances, you'll get offered legendary traits or rare traits. I say legendary because it's in yellow, but you'll get offered better traits, and it'll actually remove the three really long the three compact clips from us and give us a really long clip. Now, the benefit of this is the increased magazine size over the three of these is a little bit smaller, but the mana cost is significantly cheaper than three. So we always want to be going for those. But do remember, depending on how you are building your character, as you are picking those rare upgrades or legendary or whatever you want to call them. Masturbation. But yeah, do remember that it like takes all of, like, there's another very good one as well with 5-finger discount, absolutely really good. So the first one, the first 5-finger discount we do gives us a 10% mana reduction. The next one is a 5, and then everyone after that is a 5%. 3 together give you a 35% mana reduction, which is obviously great. And then you can have up to 3 of those to get up to 3, 6, 9, or is it 35? Basically, I think the mana reduction caps out at like 95% or something along those lines. We don't want to be making this any more powerful. We want it to be doing more hits. So in this circumstance, I don't like this mana cost though. So spell flying a straight line. We'll go for split fire. It's a bit of a waste of a trait, but we're not using this. But all of the rest of them will actually cost us base mana. But what we've now got the ability to do, and again, this is something that I really like in a good roguelike, is when things change. So because we've got the split fire ability now, we fire 2 flamethrowers from our hand instead of just 1. They could have called it burning fire and just increase the stats, but no, they actually change the look, and that is something that I always love in a good roguelike. Anyway, let's take the sword. Again, we're going to go with experiences gold on that, and we're just going to keep pushing that because that then adds to the amount of experience that is added to the weapon system that we are not using, which is always good. We'll use a silver there as well. Bullets, lovely. More compact magazine. So this is where I think a lot of people have been going wrong, is they will usually do traits that are based on making the weapon more powerful. The problem with that is it increases the mana cost, and you then get to the point where you summon one pistol and you have to wait to summon the other. This is why you need to start investing a little bit at least in reduction of mana cost traits, as well as you can't just keep powering up your weapon, you also need to trade that off a little bit with mana reduction as well. It is a bit of a all over the place system, but it's better than it was, I do think. Because there was a time when you were only allowed a finite number of traits. Now you can have an infinite number and they all just stack up on top of each other, which is great because you can become stupidly powerful. Again, no XP is gold, so it doesn't really matter. There's what we want. Lovely. So I suppose the question is, greasy fingers. That's the damage buff, isn't it? So we don't want this because you don't want to increase the damage. We don't need this because we're not summoning bullets. We're not like casting them. And even then I don't think it does use mana within this. Because it's not the reloading. Don't know. But we don't want this because it increases the mana of the damage of manually reloading. We don't want to increase damage. That doesn't, I don't think, do anything for bullets. And we don't want to increase the power that the bullets buff the guns by. So again, well, in this circumstance, we'll go for XP is gold. And it doesn't matter about the increased mana cost because we're reloading for free. So we'll put both of those on. As you can see, if we reload, it costs me mana. If I manually reload, because I've got the libertarian skill, it doesn't cost me mana. Big thing, that is. What were you talking about? What are you talking about, Op? I cast bullets, throw them venomously at the enemy. Reload. Try and feather these out a little bit better. Where are your friends? There he is. And they're usually round that corner. Oh, there he is. Oh, we run out of time. Yeah, throwing bullets is not easy. But then this is the other thing as well. It's something that I might see about doing in the future, some like little challenge runs where I use specific weaponry. I keep promising that I'll do a stream where I just use hand-to-hand weaponry. But the other problem that I have is jumping around and going upside down in this game is cool. And when you do it with guns, it's cool. And when you do it with magic, it's cool. But when you do it with weaponry, as you've seen me do, everything always just feels a little bit short. And then what do? You have to take steps in your play space. And that's how we punch walls. Right? Do you like going upside down? Again, it's the one... Like, this game is not unique. It's not the only game where you can go upside down. I wish more games had the option. I just get the impression that it's quite difficult to implement. Otherwise, a lot of things probably would implement it. The only games that I know where you can truly go properly upside down, well, as you know, there's one or two, where you can kind of flip on demand and you don't have to do complicated maneuvers, is this and Sairento. So, now, here's a very cool thing. You don't often get blessings in the chests in normal levels, but they do come up occasionally in the infinite corridors, and they're something that we definitely want to go for. I'm not taking hang time because I like somersaulting, and increased damage dealt by 150. Normally we don't like that, but you decrease damage taken by 50 when at low health. So this is a little bit of a meh trait, a little bit nothing for us, but you know, it's worth rolling because we might get a good one. Take the sword. Experience is gold for this one. And again. And Team Beef what does? Oh, does it now? Yeah, but that's the other thing as well. Yes, I am aware of some mods that can make you go upside down. But, like, a lot of games don't do it. Might as well. Hang time is great if you don't like somersaulting or you don't do somersaulting, and it just basically allows you to hover in place. Now, as I said, if you can't go upside down in this game, or you don't want to learn, or it's vomit inducing, or you don't like it, or, you know, that is the problem for me. Is I like the Matrix and all that sort of shit, and there's nothing better for me than doing gunplay whilst cartwheeling or flipping forward or backflipping. But if you're not like me and not a fucking geek, and, you know, but you still want to make the most of the style system, just jumping and then hovering and shooting things doubles the style points that you can get. But remember, if you can put up with going upside down and being accurate with your shots and doing all the bits and pieces, you'll get 4 times the experience. Not a... Oh, awesome. Oh, that's very cool. But no, but this is... So, yeah, that is then a design choice or part of the game, so to speak. That it isn't something that you're doing purely for maneuverability and style. You're doing it because that's how it is. Yeah, the only reason why I went on PC VR tonight is you can't have multiple profiles on the go on Hellsweeper. If you could, I would have started a new profile on the Quest version of Hellsweeper. But the versions are very like for like, and on my well, what I'm starting to think is quite a low end PC. Although I thought it was quite a good PC, obviously it's not. And then with the strain of streaming it at the same time as well, it just basically gave me an option. So, although having said that, I'm quite happy tonight. I like, obviously you'll always see this quite smooth. I'm getting 90 frames and 37. Yeah, everything's pretty good up and down the board. The only thing is, I've got everything set to low. But that's, again, because I think there's quite a lot of top end added for when we did... what? Oh, Oculus Go, right. Oh, I lost train of thought now. Oh, well, can't have been that important. But yeah, anyway, so long story short, we're on PC VR because then I don't have to reset my Quest profile. I don't want to do that because that'll cost me about a lot of hours. And I like playing Hellsweeper, and I like being stupidly overpowered, and I like having everything unlocked. So I'll keep things as is. So I was talking about these platforms, these portals previously. Never exit through purple or red, always go through yellow, and the reason being is because of shops. Although we might not be spending a lot of our cash at a shop, we always want the option because there might be a jade key there. I usually like to, whilst it's quite cheap, give it a reshuffle. That, because we got lucky, and basically the higher level up you have of a thing, the more these will cost. I don't know what the multipliers are within that, but basically because we already have a 75% health increase, it would cost us 1/3 of our money to get an additional 5%. You would be much better off waiting to be given these through chests if you need them, but to be honest with you, you don't. If you're going to die in this game, you're going to die fast. So we will do a refresh though, because that's quite cheap, and that's what we want. We will take a jade key. Interesting, that amount of money was different. But again, I don't really pay a massive amount of attention to the cost and price of things because, as I've said, don't spend your money. You can't spend your souls. By not spending either, you will level up faster. It is literally as simple as that. I'm not going to go into, or I have gone into the technicalities of all of that earlier. Ooh. I'll be honest with you, boys, I'm not a big fan of PC VR. I like being able to put the thing on my face, turn the button on, play the game. There's, like, every single PC VR stream, I make a point of trying to start early, because if I don't, there will inevitably be something gone wrong, or something won't work. And I'm basically a console pleb, so I want to turn it on, stick it on my head, and play. I do not like, the story that I always give is I started playing Star Wars Squadrons on PC not so long ago, and on PC VR, and I have not touched, as quite a big Star Wars fan, I have not touched Star Wars Squadrons. I had plenty of opportunity to play it flat screen, and I didn't, because I wanted to play it in VR. The first time I tried it on PC, played it, or tried to play it on PC VR, was on the Quest 2, and it was all murky and muddy, and I think it was a combination of Quest 2 wasn't great for it, and I don't think my PC was either, and I didn't really understand what I was doing with Virtual Desktop. I got into it recently, and it was amazing. Played it all day one day, tried to play it the next day, and basically the PC was like, no, today if you want to play Star Wars Squadrons, you don't have to actually play it in VR today. Isn't that good of us? And so basically the game had changed itself from VR mode into PC mode, and it took like multiple restarts and turning various bits and pieces on and off and pissing about to get it back, and it wasn't as simple as just, you know, making sure that the VR mode was on. It's just an absolute pain. Absolute pain. I am surprised about the PC VR adapter thing being sold out, because yeah, I didn't really think there'd be that many people that would actually have them, if I'm honest. Anyway, yes, look, Kim, easiest boss in the game. So why is he easy though? Because his only real strength is that he has a shield, and as long as you have the levitation skill... Oh, actually, no, we don't. Uh-oh. Ooh. Well, I mean, just never give them the opportunity to play with you, and you'll be fine. I've got a friend who does those kind of streams, actually, WD. He runs a bit of a crash. So, we haven't got the ability... can't use guns. We haven't got the ability to levitate a rock, so we're going to have to use things around the level. But again, you'll see that all I'm doing to not die here is staying reasonably mobile, staying away from his fucking technicolored laser light disco show, and looking out for the green on the floor. So as long as I keep moving, strafing and jumping, and occasionally making use of these bits of wall for wall running, I'm mobile enough that he can't get me. There's two ways that we can take these shields down. Well, there's a lot of ways, but we can either destroy them via weaponry or magic, or we can pick something up from the level and smash that at him, and then that downs his shield and stuns him. And here's another one for you then, in that case, Kim and Von. If you don't have the levitation skill on at all, or no, sorry, if you don't have the rock, and you can't, and you've run out of things around the level, you can shoot him in his arm, and then his arm falls off, and then we can throw that at him. Oh, missed. He will regrow those arms as well, so he's always got things that you can shoot on him when his arm is outside of his shield, which you can then use to knock his shield off. We'll just force this one though. Go, go, gadget magic! Yeah, if we can cast it. Oh, might be losing some frames here. And we're literally just going to keep on. Actually, I increased the mana. Just going to keep on firing fireballs into and through him. And eventually, again, and this isn't a bad way to deal with him, because we're also keeping our multiplier going off of the enemies around the level by all of those little firefly shots coming off of the main ball. And we want to try and make the ball either go through him or at him. He should wait until I got blood magic up. Wait till I got blood magic. This guy gets absolutely torn to shreds with blood magic. Most of the bosses do. And there we go. Force! Woo! Very good. Don't need this. Hang on, how's he got 3 arms? What is this guy? I just threw one off. Get this shit out of here. Right. Thanks, Vom. I will actually do a battery check now. I haven't heard a beep, so my battery's probably alright. But we'll change anyway. Indeed. Let me just make sure this one's charging. Won't be a sec. One of the bonuses with PC VR though is when I go into my Guardian, you guys can't see it. It doesn't actually show up on the stream, which then means that I can have my Guardian on and it'll never come up in video or streaming that I do, which is good. I'm sure the Quest used to have a setting for when I used to do that. But yeah. But now they've made it. Well, I mean, who wants to see the Guardian coming up when they're watching a recording of somebody or a stream? I'll tell you who. Fucking nobody. Stupid feature. I have had a look around. I can't find a way to turn that off, that it records these things. The one thing that I will say though is I did recently upgrade to V68 today because it was forced to do. And I also wanted the latest for going on to virtual desktop on as well. And yeah, I haven't had a look through the options yet. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's particularly nasty when it's like a fist in a wall. Always get a blessing at a boss. Now, pumping iron used to be a bad trait. If you are doing hand-to-hand, it's not too bad. 60% of your mana is converted to health. Mana is removed and health is used instead. Increase health regeneration by 70%. The reason why I say this is quite good for hand-to-hand is because a lot of weaponry that you have hand-to-hand has some sort of life-stealing or life-leeching possibilities. And having a bigger health bar that regenerates faster plays into that quite nicely. Normally I avoid pumping iron like the plague though, because I don't like the idea of using something that will get me killed as my mana instead. So we're going to go with dynamic force, not because it's good, but because I don't want pumping iron. Jumping and landing from a jump releases a powerful blast. Yes, it looks cool. Proper superhero landing. Bam! Well, almost superhero landing. And you get like a blast wave out and another one when you jump. Again, they're nice features that are added. No, I never go to the gym. No. Ugh. Eey. Yeah, it's probably... to be fair, what I'm seeing is the stone hand looks a lot stonier and veinier in PC VR. But again, remember, I've got the graphics on low, very low, to make sure that the stream comes through fine. So, right, very, 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 very important point within this game. So we got a decent amount of levels. I wasn't really looking, but you'll have seen that it was taking away my cash and my souls, and this is the cash that we have to use overall, and then using a multiplier on it, 375 souls. This is what we have earned now so far. Yeah, no worries, boys. Thanks for dropping by. So, money, soul, conversion to spendable souls. They should have made this different to this. They should have had cash, sins, converted to souls, or something along those lines, maybe. But they didn't. So, and the harder mode you play this in, the more nodes you get before you get to a boss as well. So that means that you can earn more gold and souls before you get to this stage, and you would get a higher multiplier. Anyway, the important thing is looking here, because I didn't get to show this off in my tips video because I've leveled them all up to maximum. All of these arrows show that each of these things have been leveled up. And you'll also see that bar around the outside indicates how far we have leveled up to in our class, which we'll talk about next. But that means we have a level in each of these. If we do nothing, they will all just stay at level 1 for the rest of the game, no matter how many runs we play. It's an annoying feature because it then means if you haven't got enough resources to upgrade them, you're losing out on XP. So at the end of a chapter, we always let's flick some tit.
Seems the Provine was right about you.
We always come back and rest at Hall and do our level ups every single time. Oh, wrong one. Now, I don't think we've got enough to level everything up. No, we've got enough to level up one of them. Now, I would say then in that circumstance, fire magic would be the most important for now and for later. And the level up does what? Increase damage by 15%, increase status effect duration by 15%. We don't really want to put the damage up too much, but we do want to get this up to max level for reasons that I'll explain later. So this is where we come to do the leveling up of the weapons. And note that the rank 1 bar has disappeared, and now we get a rank 2 bar. And now what that means, unlike these ones which are finished, now I can't rank that one up because I haven't got enough souls. The other thing to note as well, do not early game spend any of your souls on your on the cosmetics or
Like looking at yourself in the mirror.
on the masks, skins, or the veins, because you need them so that you can stay on top of your weaponry and keep leveling that up. Like, you know, I've had a reasonably successful first act or first chapter, and we didn't get a lot of souls, you know, 375. At the end of a run, I should have enough to be able to upgrade everything. But that's, you know, providing we can. Anyway.
The sweep never sleeps.
We continue. Go faster, red, speed veins, right? To be fair, it is one of the things that I love about this. Not just the gunplay and the magic and the going upside down and the fact that there are combinations of stuff that you can use with each other that I've forgotten. There are so many. But being able to change the color of your skin and the veins, and that they light up when you are casting magic is very cool. Right, what are we on? We are on waves, so that means we've got 2 batches of enemies to deal with. We've got a jade key, lovely. So as I said, those jade keys are the equivalent of basically gold keys. We get the same style of reward. Each thing will get +3 to its mastery, not to its level, its mastery. Start with fire. These are a bit underwhelming. Don't want this. Oh, that does increase the mana cost. That hasn't helped us. Okay, that does as well. That's the only one out of all of these that doesn't, so we're going to take that. Not that it's any good, but we're going to take it anyway. Tomb of the Fireflies increases the Flame Blast Embers, but most importantly doesn't increase mana. Oh, always. You can always go full Emperor Palpatine. I love doing that in this game. It's so good. Not only, I mean, Emperor Palpatine is all well and good as a character, but can he do Force Lightning with both hands upside down? No, he can't. We can. Anyway, right, mana. We definitely need a mana reduction on that. We'll take the life upgrade, so we're now at like 120% health, which is pretty good. And that gets us the rock split that we need. We want to discount this, because that means that we can pick up and hover things for longer. And we'll go for more rocks, not because it's good, but because it doesn't increase our mana. And hop. And now we summon 2 rocks. And you can actually use these in combat as well, just by flicking them towards your enemies. I'll try and demonstrate. Yeah. And what I'm not doing here is I'll be getting a bit. Looks like everyone's all of a sudden got a bit tasty. And so you can just toss them, but you can also kind of like throw them. Here's something very important. When you are playing the game, random objects that are getting thrown at you, knives, hooks, various needles, will get stuck in your hand. When they get stuck, they reduce the maximum amount of health that you can go back to. If you get multiple items stuck across both hands, that can get you killed. Remove them as soon as you see them. I think it also has an effect on health regeneration as well, but I couldn't be 100% certain on that. The reason why I thought things were getting tasty and we took quite a bit of damage coming in here is because there was a totem right there whilst I was dicking about at the start of the level. Right. You guys coming down or? Yeah? Good. Oh, yeah, let's kill that as well. Ow. Prick. As you can see, we can put an entire 2 clips into that enemy type now. Can't even remember which one that one's called. Lust, I think. And so we can do a lot more to the enemies, because they're a lot more tougher, and this is how you get your style up at these later levels. The enemies take a lot more damage. These ones in particular. And so all of a sudden, being upside down and shooting the shit out of something does wonders for our style. So we're up to 150 there. I'm using slow time during that jump, and then I'm back down again, straight up in the air, straight into slow time, and continuing my combo. Huh. This one is broken. Actually, I'll talk about that in a minute. Your guns, come on. Your guns you can use to block with. Try not to, because it'll save you having to recast them. A lot of the time, better to face tank the damage. Oh no, we're still going. And jump. Now we've got some enemies to combo off of. Those shields can actually be quite tough to get through as well. Quiet you. Those shields on regular enemies can be quite difficult to crack sometimes, depending on the angle that you're coming at them. You just saw I levitated a rock and chucked it into him to smash his shield down. Same way as the boss. It's very much a theme within this game. Shields are good at defending against magic, hand-to-hand, and gunfire, but they're not very good against blunt and solid objects, like big ones, like arms and bodies and rocks. And also there, later on, we get the ability to fire a blast wave out in front of us. That is a separate support skill, and that can strip shields also. Knowing how to strip the shields, all the different ways to do it, is very good. And again, it's something that I like. You do have to deal with a lot of shielded enemies within this game, and that there are many, many ways to take them down and deal with them. It means that it doesn't make certain weaponry irrelevant, which is good. Hey, look at that. I've never seen that before. Got all of this extra detail in the background. Right. Gold. Gold. Hello, Mal. Even I'm still getting used to this whole thing with one hand moves the display, the other one picks. I wish they'd just like make it go a little bit further back and just stay in front of you. It's a bit weird to control it with one hand, because you'd think it would follow you where you're looking, but it also follows your hand as well. It's really weird. Anyway, right, one more 5-finger discount. Because we've now got at least 3 of these, there's a chance that this upgrade will come up. Reduce mana cost by 35%. Yes, please. And then we'll take another one. And so these are the mana reductions that we now want. I'll go XP as gold because it doesn't matter. And we'll go XP as gold again because it doesn't matter. And we'll go XP again because it doesn't matter. These are the mana reductions that we want, because now I can cast, or I can almost cast 4 reasonably uninterrupted. Oh, damn it. And there is a little bit of a technique that I found as well. So normally you bring the 2 fireballs out, smush, point, fire. Whilst you're doing all of that, it's ticking your mana down, because this is actually a spell. And we can float round whilst we're doing it. Not particularly powerful, not amazing, but not particularly great. It's only when we get to here and fire that the big chunk of mana for firing the big fireball is removed. One of the things that you can do, it saves you a little bit of mana, not much, is you can forego this, that fire by hitting them at a diagonal. And so I cast my fireballs and I smush them together like this, where I have at least one hand pointing forwards, and then you can press both triggers. So normally you need to smush, point both forward, pull both triggers, whereas with what I do, you can go and fire them very quickly. Not particularly accurately a lot of the time, but that doesn't usually matter with what I'm usually quick casting. But even with these, it doesn't really matter about not casting them straight. But there would be a way that I could get that so that it is going straight, but it's not necessary. So, but we're not at a stage where we need to worry about doing quick casting yet, because we haven't got the mana to be able to do it. We need another one of those Phantom Thieves so that we're getting huge mana discounts and sending all the spells their way. Like, I don't know, I look around at this game and it does, obviously I've got it an all on low, and in some areas it looks better than what I've seen on the Quest, and in others I think the Quest does beat it. Like, for instance, this graphical background where you've got what looks like parts of maybe a oil rig or crane or something in the background, and the skyboxes look better as well, and there's at least a little bit of texture on these rivers of blood and stuff, and all these things are great. And it's those little tiny bits of texture and stuff that kind of missing from the Quest 3, which would take a really good game to actually quite a stunning looking game. So, and I know, like, there's the possibility of, oh well, you can't do that on Quest 3, you can only do it on PC VR. I've seen some very good graphics on Quest 3 actually. So, but, right, we will continue with bullets. One of the things to note as well... Oh, actually, hang on a second. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. Yeah. So, if we were to go... So, all the levels are the same. All the levels are sacrifice. But, if we were to go to this one, a map modifier would be added. And that map modifier is meteorites. And meteorites are a horrible level trait to deal with. It's just basically rocks that fall from the sky, flaming rocks that fall from the sky. They do hit the enemies, but they also hit you, and they can be a pain in the ass, and they can get you killed. If you ever see a red puddle here, you do not take that choice, even if it's what you want, because the floor is lava is the worst map modifier in any game going ever. Very fucking annoying. As soon as you touch the ground, there, like within 2 seconds, you're blasted to one side, and then as soon as you touch the ground again, you're blasted to one side. I've died way too many times to floor is lava, and it's just annoying as well. So, the other thing I was going to talk about, so we're going to go with sacrifice, we were going to go with one of these two, and we need bullets, is if you look at a lot of these, I don't know how magic looks when it does it, but if you look, it's easier to see on PC VR as well, is you should be able to see that there's kind of like a gold tint to that upgrade. Normally it's quite metallic and not quite as shiny, and that looks a little bit gold to me, and what I believe that means is that there is a chance that that will have one of these legendary upgrades with it. And there it is, look. So we can now have the knife attachment added to our pistol, which, yeah, go on then. So now our pistols have got fuck off knives on them. Oh, that's what you want, isn't it? You want bayonets on your guns. So, and it does give you a little bit of a nicety. A lot of the time when you end up damaging your guns, it is because enemies are close and you hit them. These cause more damage, and I think they stop your guns taking damage from doing hits to things. So, you know, you can be upside down now, shooting, and you can then swipe. And a lot of the time when you do the swipes, it actually reloads your guns for you as well. So, a nice little match made in heaven. What are we talking about, Mel? Rivers of blood are normal. Normal rivers of blood for normal people. Right, was there any other chests? Nope. But then I suppose the other thing with Hellsweeper is this game was made a couple of years ago, and I sometimes forget. I think it was a couple of years ago, and I think I sometimes forget that. I think it was 2022. And so, you know, they're not gonna, you know, as devs get better with doing games, they're gonna advance and be able to do more with games. At this point with Hellsweeper, I think to change the little things that I would want changing, you'd have to overhaul the game, so you might as well make Hellsweeper 2 at that point. Sacrifice is another level that you can harvest enemies from to get maximum style. How? Here's how. Basically, enemies will spawn infinitely. The ones that we kill inside that big bubble count. Any others do not. So we stay away from the bubble. Ice enemies, lovely. Why do we like ice enemies? Ice enemies have huge health upgrades. Or so it would appear. Oh, missed it. Just trying to do a wall run. Start again. Ice enemies have huge health upgrades. They can take a lot of shots before they die. Why is that good for us? Well, style. It can be quite obnoxious the amount of shots that they can take sometimes. But it's all good for the style. We just need to make sure that we actually do all of this and then get the kill at the end of it. Oops. Wrong button. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Uh-oh, we're going down. Get my kill. There we go. 23,750 style. So from that one enemy alone, we've got 1/3 of the required style that we need. To get the definitely get for that one, Poise, definitely get the trait that I've got. For the bullets, equip the bullets to either your shoulder, hip, or both, and put Libertarian on, and then you can manually upgrade, you can manually reload it by pointing up or pointing down, like I'm doing with the pistols. That works for everything but Tempests. So if we kill this one now, it's 42,000, I think. And you can see how high we've got my multipliers. There you go, 49,000 for one kill. And as long as we keep putting those hits in, we'll be able to keep that multiplier high. One more kill. And if we can make it a headshot, and that should be, yeah, how much is that? So yeah, that's 10,000 for that enemy alone. And that's like quite a basic enemy, and it was just a body shot. So now that we've got enough style to be over 60,000 style by quite a way, I would imagine, now we just kill everything within the circle. Might as well just kill it with these. And again, although there's loads of stuff in this game, and I have my favourites, and I like almost exclusively use those. If I'm not using pistols or fire magic, it's blood magic. But I like the fact that, you know, I could just pick this up one day and go, oh, I'll do a melee build today. I'll do a melee playthrough. One of the things that I would like to see in Hellsweeper is you possibly being forced to use certain kind of weapons and certain traits. Uh-oh, we're almost dead. Stop face tanking things.
Ammo always running low. Time to brush up on your reloading.
Quiet, Bug! Bug's gonna get turned off if it keeps on criticising me. We didn't take many hits there, and then all of a sudden, we were almost dead. You can die incredibly quickly on this, especially if you are, as I was, just face tanking it and standing still. Don't do that. It'll only get you killed. But yeah, so as I said, if you imagine that's the rifle, instead of going... I just go... Or... Oh no, I took it off of my hip slot. But yeah, it then makes the rifle's great, it makes it even better. And as I said, if you then have an infused weapon with manually reloaded rounds, you then get various effects from the weapon as well. So those were explosive bullets. Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that variety is in the game, because it just makes it stupidly accessible. But I think one of the problems the game might have is that a lot of what I show off within my streams, you can only really find it out by experimenting. There's nothing, there's like, the tutorial is quite basic in the... It's a weird one to describe, because my channel lives and breathes on games that have hidden information on them. So obviously I'm a big fan, but there is that element of... you've at least got to give the player a little bit to go off of, so that they don't start a game and get confused. No, of course why would you be able to help that? The fact that you actually, like, cast by banging it into the floor as well is fantastic. So, bit twitchy. But yeah, I'm loving all of this, like, all of that is extra detail, all of that train and the thing up there. That building in the background. So there's lots of other extra bits and bobs. One of the things that always got me is, like, you can't... Oh, I'm out. You can't go on to... Oh. Okay. So you can go onto them in the PC VR version, but you can't go very high. Just teleports you back down again. I think that's another... Like, you know, because again, I never like to say, this game's great, I love this game, without good reason. And, you know, I'd like to think that I'll play it. If it looks like your kind of game, you can give it a go. If not, I'll try and get you a free key. And we'll do a giveaway or whatnot. But I always like to give cons for it. And I think potentially another one of the reasons why this game didn't go down so well is it is just basically at its core arena combat. And a lot of the arenas, although they look visually interesting, there isn't a lot to them. A lot of the time it is literally an arena. Some have got a little bit of verticality to them. But like, for instance, you know, we can't go running around up in those gantries in there. And even if you could, I don't think it would work very well anyway. Cheers, Vaughn! See you later! So, but as said, you know, they're very minor criticisms. Like, you know, that should not put you off of the game. But I don't like to just say, oh, this game's amazing, I really love this game, without at least giving some con to it. And did I pick that? No, I didn't. Now, you'll note, I am not picking up the increased damage perks. Yeah, this is definitely at the top for me also, on the roguelike side of things. I do like, a lot of people have been whinging about there's no katanas in the game for it being an absolute weeb fest. Now I know that that's not technically a katana in our hands, it's more of an adachi in our hands. However, in the enemy's hands this is a katana. It's like, how many games in VR can you wield, can you single-handed iced nadachis whilst upside down in slow motion? There aren't any. There just aren't. If I had the ability to, if I remember rightly, I could flip and push myself off of the wall. I'll try and do that a little bit better. So if I flip towards the wall and push off with my sword, it actually pushes me away. Again, a very cool feature. You can actually have that. It's actually practical as well. You can use that to maneuver yourself around the level, and on top of that there is the benefit of when you use weaponry to sort of like push yourself off of things, it resets your jumps as well. So like for instance, I think it does, I don't know if it does it with the swords. Let's try. So that's one jump used, push, and then jump. And no, it doesn't. So, because I've said in one of my tutorials that if you can do, like if you're jumping towards a wall and you're upside down and you handspring, won't be able to do it now, and you do that and push away with your hand, that resets your jumps, if memory serves. One. Oh no, it didn't on that occasion. Yeah. Maybe it's just a bow thing then. But you might have to actually touch the floor. Because, yeah, actually that's the point. It is wall running and touching the floor. But you can handspring off of the floor. I won't be able to show you that tonight. But yeah, I think it's touching the floor that resets them, if memory serves. Anyway, the reason why I am not taking the damage is because we don't want to be doing shitloads of damage. We don't want to kill enemies quickly, so we want to basically feign weakness. We want to keep our damage down. And yeah, boys, so just so you know, it isn't like you can spring off of things with the weapons, but it doesn't reset your number of jumps. It's when you, I think, touch the floor with a hand that resets your number of jumps, or wall running. I know wall running resets your number of jumps. And what was the other one? Touching the, well, landing, handspringing, and landing, wall running, and handspringing resets your number of jumps. Later on in the game, you get so many jumps, depending on what style you're playing, you don't need to do any of those bits and pieces. So, but anyway, right, next level. So yeah, we're going to feign weakness. We're not going to upgrade ourselves. If you're playing and you're just trying to survive and get through, do take the damage power-ups. Another thing that I do a lot, does take up quite a lot of mana, but you'll see that when I jump, I've got the ability to strafe, forwards, or backwards. That's the air dash. Haven't even talked about that in any of my videos, and it's very important because it allows you, even when you're in slow motion, to put some momentum in a direction. It's using a combination of slow motion and that air dashing that I'll be able to get the hand-to-hand combat kills that I want to in this game, whilst being upside down and with a flaming sword and all that shit. Bye-bye. There you go, 318,000. So that is 6, 12, 8, 5 times more style than we actually need. Much better to have loads more than you actually need and get the maximum reward than be short and not get the maximum. We will have wave. No. So I don't really care about either any of these. Oh, that's Meteor. They're trapped in an arena with us. You're not wrong. Next objective. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because I've just found the gunplay and the magic too good, and being upside down all the time. And swordplay, I always seem to be a little bit short. So But again, it's probably just a practice thing. I'm still unlocking and leveling things in this game, for Christ's sake. I haven't completed it enough time to unlock all the dialogue. This is me. You know what? I don't want to do wave, and I don't want to do wave with that, so we'll take a bit of a risk and we'll go for exclamation marks. Just because it has exclamation marks on it does not mean it is an infinite corridor, but there's a chance that it could be. We will do 5-finger discount. Lovely. Yeah, it could be tribute, it could be the wheel, I think it's called. It's not an infinite corridor.
Spin the roulette to unlock
roulette.
Rewards, threats, or nothing.
Now, so this level is basically empty. And we get to now spin the roulette if we want to. And if we get a negative map modifier, it will be with us for the rest of the game. This level can ruin runs. Absolutely ruin them. I'm going to get all of the chests and totems first. Remember to check these starting areas, because I think you can start in all of these for totems and chests. You want them all because they all contain souls and obbles, gold. But primarily we want those yellow ones because they're the ones that got them keys in them. These ones here, you can actually see the key drop. Yes, no, you're not wrong. I'm the same on the martial arts side of things as well. I've been doing martial arts all my life, and I've also been playing games, most of it too. And I've always been, as I've said before, I've always been okay at games. I've never been anything particularly talented or special. I've just found that by ditching the control pad and actually being able to rely on my own dexterity, I'm better. I'm better at games. So I've got some accomplishment, like, you know, I've never won any competitions in games up until this point, so I was never ever on that level. Never really even competed, to be honest with you. But then I've won a fair few bits and pieces in my time in VR. And again, as I said, I put it down to a lot of it down to I consider myself a reasonably dexterous person because I've done a lot of martial arts, and this VR unlocks it for me. So now then, okay, we will take a chance here because floor is lava is no. I mean, I'd like to think that I'm that flexible. There was a time when I used to be pretty flexible. That time has passed. Ooh, cheaper shop prices. Nice. Those ones are added permanently. How many we got? 14. Yeah, it is very difficult. Very difficult to go back once you've had a taste of this. If you find that right game. Hello, fella. Ooh, your eyes are sutured. Have one of those. I can't. That's why I don't like melee in this. Always seem to be a little bit shy. Although there are things that you can do. Oh, I've missed it. There are things that you can do with some of the melee weapons that can, like, boost you towards them. levitate upside down. I'm telling you, boys. Yep. So... No, no more! No more. But again, we did well enough within our combo there to probably max style. What is he doing? Did you just fall off? Oh, it did now. Eh. Get down.
Don't let a lack of bullets slow you down in battle. Remember to reload properly.
Shut up, bug. This is why I turned the bug off. The thing is, when you're reloading and you're out of mana, the bug gets pissed off. If you are not out of mana sometimes when reloading, you're probably not firing enough. Or you're using a lot of the Liberty skill, as you well should be. No, not wrong. Not wrong. No, I'm glad that hovering is in it. As I said, you want to be upside down, let me tell you, but it's good that there is that level of accessibility, because it then means, like, this is another thing that I like about this game as well. This is one of those VR games that I feel is kind of catered to everybody. Be you at the, like, real sweaty end of things, or just want a bit of a casual, slow time jaunt. You can do both. Oh, there's that shop visit. Survival. Wave. We'll take survival. I can go hell-bent on that. Lovely. As said, if, you know, I'm a big advocate of VR, and I'm also a huge gamer, so these two things go together very well for me. The one thing that I don't like about VR is there are times when I just can't be bothered to put the headset on. I don't want to stand up, and I don't like playing VR seated. It just seems to take things away. I know there are seated games, but sometimes, you know, just can't be bothered to do the VR thing. Not often, but, like, you know, if you've had a particularly long day or been out all day, or, you know, various things have gone on, and that's the only time that I find myself doing flat gaming. Like, the other, well, there's actually two. There's that, and when it's too fucking hot. So, but anyway, right. We are on a survival mission. I like these because the enemies spawn in quite rapid, and you just want to kill and kill and kill.
Don't die while the clock is ticking.
Oh, I won't. Don't you worry about me, son. Don't you worry about me. We should, just by casting fireballs, because we've got a decent conversion of the old mana now, should be able to get a decent combo. And when we fired a few of these off, if we were to then jump and flip upside down, you'll note that each of those hits turns into a ×4. The only problem with that is you can't do a double upside down without it taking you out of slow time. You can put them together. Also, summoning sometimes when you're upside down is a bit twitchy, but as soon as I do that, it takes me out of the slow time. even this,
Remember,
even
your
that.
magic stops working. Check that blue bar on your hand. Over
Would
here.
you shut up telling me how to do magic? Fuck off.
You scoundrel.
Right? Scoundrel. Good choice of word, bug. But yeah. Even that, you know, there's a little bit of physicality and there's a level of exercise. You have to quite rapidly bring your hands in whilst doing the trigger side of things. Then you've got to smush them together, point and trigger, and you've got to be assessing the threats and firing them whilst also moving on the other stick as well. It's, I mean, I wouldn't think it's like a unique game in that regard, because a lot of games do various elements that this game does. It's just Hellsweeper does them all. You know, it brings a lot of different things together, and it's a very cool game for it. It still irks me as to why it's not more popular than it should be, and I think it's a combination of entry barrier and hidden information. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that was well over 30,000. Lovely. Maybe. So if you check all of these, and all of them are exclamation marks, you know that the next level up, if you haven't been paying attention, because I never do, memory is shocking, you know that the next level coming is an infinite corridor, guaranteed. When you get ones, when like maybe one of the next objectives shows question marks out of all 3 of them, you know you're kind of midway through the game, and there's still a chance that you'll get a bonus one. Runs where you get multiple infinite corridor visits, you can become silly powerful, but doesn't matter in this circumstance. Lovely. Yeah. I think I do think that the PR and the advertisement, because I remember when Sairento came out and everybody knew about that game, everybody was talking about it. I don't even know if that one did very well, but everybody knew about it and knew about that game. And it was, well, because I suppose it was unique as well. It was the first of this kind ever in VR. And yeah, Sairento's another one of my favourites. I fucking love that game.
As much bounty.
Interesting. It actually came up. I haven't seen that on screen before, probably because I turned it off. These levels are called infinite corridors. They used to be called vaults. I don't think Mixed Realms have made up their mind on what they want to call it. But yeah, I always called them vaults because that's what they used to be called, and then they changed the name to infinite corridors for reasons. To be fair, the infinite corridor is a more accurate description. Let's just make sure we've got enough keys to do everything gold. Was that a check? No. Okay, we might as well get this challenge out of the way as well. These challenges are optional. The ambushes are not.
More Hellspawn on the way.
Yeah, no worries. Sairento suffers from the same problems as this game, especially on the Quest, because I originally played it on PlayStation VR, and the Quest version in comparison to the PC VR, to the PC and PlayStation version, is almost like half the game. One of the really cool things that Sairento had is that you could you'd go through like a train, and you'd go through the different compartments and fight different waves of enemies in the different compartments, and it would string it all together. And there was also like a survival mode where you're going through like a cyberpunk city, and it was really good. Graphics were okay. They were mind-blowing back then, but now I'd suppose you consider them okay. Whereas the Quest version that came out, the Quest 2 version, is almost like a series of at least this experience is interconnected. You go from one level to the next, and then you have your infinite corridors and you have your boss battles. Whereas Sairento, pick mission, complete mission, come back to hub. Pick mission, complete mission, come back to hub. So it's like a series of instances. Again, kind of like Dungeons of Eternity. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just feels a bit basic, I guess.
Every reward has a cost.
So, but yeah, the PlayStation version, the PS VR, and the... Ooh, mana. Yes, please. The PC VR and the PlayStation versions are superior. That's where I played it. I think that's part of the... I played it a lot on PlayStation, bought it on the Quest as soon as I got the Quest 1, because that's what it was made for. That's the other thing you've got to remember. It was made for the Quest 1, you know, that thing that's basically like a potato in disguise. And it worked on there, and it worked well on there as well. But it was made with that in mind. I actually spoke to Mixed Realms whilst all that 90% off stuff was going on. And I was like, what better excuse? You have a game that is reasonably priced, but very old. And a lot of people won't look at it because of how old it is. Put Sairento as £1 off, and you might find a wealth of players, kind of like me and like Poise and like a few of the others of you in the chat, that will get into Sairento, really enjoy it, but then be looking for the modern equivalent of. And here it is. But, yeah. I mean, I thought it was a great idea, because they can't be selling that many. Ooh, 45% mana increase, lovely. And some pistol traits as well. Can't be selling that many copies of Sairento these days. Oh yeah, yeah. Like, again, that's another thing with that game. The amount of stuff that's going on with that game. The thing is, I love that in games where there's just like fucking menu after menu after menu after menu, and it all allows you to customize your experience. I fucking love it. Well, yeah, it is minor buffs, isn't it, I suppose. But it's, yeah, it's still customization, whichever way you look at it. And I like being able to lean into the best things that I have, or the things that I want to lean into. And I love games like that. But even when I picked up Sairento, as somebody who loves stats and you know, changing visual effects and slow time and just playing Sairento, as someone who has played Sairento a lot, I came into that, and even I was like, fucking hell, this is overwhelming. Life leech, yeah. Yeah, life leech works really well. I do find that the hand-to-hand in Sairento seems to work better as well. And I think it's because the arenas suit it more than the arenas in this. This is what I was talking about getting your weaponry up to a certain level so that you can then kind of harvest hits and get decent style out of these guys during the ambushes. This one's a little bit different though, because this ambush site is actually quite big. We can escape up top if we wanted to. Another thing to note on these guys, as I said, the ice enemies are incredibly robust, and normally I'd just stop there and go and shoot them loads and you'll get your style up loads. If you need to deal with them quickly, those icicles that are on them, if you break them, all of them on their body, they die instantly. He's got one on his shoulder and there's one down there. And regardless of his life, and he dies instantly when you've destroyed all of those icicles. Worth noting, never really come in use to me, but look at his jaw. Fucking idiot. There goes your sword arm. Oh, down I go. There we go. We should have got a... Don't you even fucking start.
Do that again and I'll...
You'll what?
Pick your points.
There we go. 79,250. 20k over what we needed. Maximum 3,000 reward and 100 souls. Perfect. I do wish... One of the things that I think I suggested this, I do wish that there was some kind of indicator or some kind of audio noise so that somebody like me knows when I've hit 60k worth of style, so that I don't have to carry on going when I don't need to. Would be nice, but... Right, we only have 2 golds and loads of silvers. However, there's loads of other things for us to go and shoot and get more keys. So we'll probably, when we come back here, have at least 3 gold keys. So let's go and do that. If there's enough totems left. There should be. Got the top to do here as well. Did we come in from the bottom? Yes, we did. Going up. I love the verticality in this as well. And, you know, the player's general mobility is very good. Like, wall running is awesome in any game that it gets put in. And Sairento seemed like there was lots of opportunity to wall run. Whereas because of how they've designed some of these, because it's more, I suppose, organic and a bit cobbled together as you'd expect Hell to be, there aren't as many wall running opportunities. Whereas in Sairento you've got all of those very clean long walls within the game. Right, that's where we're coming back to, because that's the shop. No, I mean,
More enemies.
dash. Oh right, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, as long as when you're holding the thumb button for your dash or your jump or whatever you refer to it as. Well, you're going to take shots for days, aren't you? Good stuff. This is where we get our combo. Right, tits! Thank you, K2. Cheers, mate. See you later. Yeah, I'll probably kill the boss and then we'll call it a night. Ooh, that's a lot of enemies. Ba -ba 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 -ba. If we go for those ice bits, try and keep my combo going whilst I'm doing it. No, he's going to be a pain to do it on. I'll do it in a minute. I want to make sure I get enough style first. Oh, that's broken. Yeah, no worries, dude. Asgard's Wrath is something I really do need to get back into. I did enjoy it, I just... As I've said to Vaughn on multiple occasions, Asgard's Wrath is great, but I Skyrim'd myself on it, or Oblivion'd myself on it, in that I've done loads, and when I go back to that game now, I've left it long enough that I'm not going to have a fucking clue what any of the quests or things that I'm doing are. I probably did about, I don't know, maybe 1/3 of the content so far, and I do really need to go back and play that. There is also that other element as well, is timing. It's a game that I could have done a lot of tips and tricks on, but the problem is I try to be as conscientious as I can. If I am going to do something like that, I'm going to want to live stream the game as well. And what I don't want to do is spoil that game for anybody. Oh, didn't get the wall run. Ah, combo lost. Ah, well, never mind. I think we've got enough. I love the flamethrowers in this game. They just do not last long enough. Even when you've got the mana pretty good. Well, that's plenty of yellow totems. 300 odd thousand. So this is the thing that I do find with style. I either go massively overboard or I'm just under it. And there's never anywhere in between. So we always take blessings. These things you'll get offered for days. Blessings are quite rare. Stakes are high, increased damage by 20% for 5 seconds when hit. We'll just not get hit then. I'm still playing this like I'm going to get gilded boots or whatnot, but I think a lot of the good power-ups are actually locked away at this point still. Which way did we come in? But yeah, I try to be conscientious with when I'm doing tips and tricks. Like, I haven't done a lot of coverage on Into the Radius 2 and any tips and tricks on it because 0 out of 10. They, I don't want to spoil the game for anybody, is part and parcel of the problem. And by doing tips and tricks, you know, a lot of people, you know, might get things spoiled for them, and I don't want to be that guy. And that's kind of the reason why I stayed away from... I was doing another tips and tricks set. And, there we are. Look, Phantom 70% reduction. That is lovely. And we'll go for Mana Conduit because it doesn't increase anything. And we'll have another 5-finger discount because more discount. Hello, Tails. How we doing? Yeah, like, I can't be too harsh on it because I think as much of the problem with Into the Radius 2 is like when I've been playing it by myself, it's fine. When I've played it cooperative, it's a bit terrible. And then when I've been streaming it, the longer the stream goes on, the worse things get. And I don't know. Like, this is another thing that really does me over about PC is I think a lot of the oh, I lost train of thought then. I was listening to Tales of those Ghost of Tabor stuff. Played Ghost of Tabor recently and I got pretty bored pretty quickly. I can get in and I can extract, I can do the bits and pieces, but nobody uses the mic, nobody talks. And then if you come across a squad, they're all heavily geared and everyone kills on sight. There's not really much in the ways of communication, which is fine. Just couldn't, I don't know, I tried to get back into Ghosts and failed. But yeah, the long and the short of it is, like, I can play this and I can stream this in low, no problems. It's a reasonably decent graphical game. I'm not having any problems. When I drop it up to the spectator mode, it's not bad. But oh yeah. But I think there is definitely an element on into the radius of there's not a lot of optimization going on is the problem. So, I mean, like, you know, Mac in VR is somebody who knows his shit on PC, and even he was initially having problems with the last builds, and like, he's got top of the fucking range. And again, this is the reason why I hate PC VR as well. It's like, just when you think you've got everything that you need to get, you can't run it because your processor isn't compatible, or your graphics card isn't compatible, or you haven't downloaded enough fucking RAM from the internet, you know. So, right, I don't think we're going to find any more gold keys, so we'll have to use... Oh, actually, having said that, there's a whole other section here. Ooh, no ambush, good. Oh, these are all silvers! I mean, silver's usually such a great colour, but I'd like to see gold at the moment. Really would. Right, let's have a quick wet of water a second. Yeah, so this is the thing for me, Tails. I think the game should be either open mic for Ghost. It should either be open mic or you can mute your mic. Those should be the only two options. What's the point of putting proximity chat into a game that you can then fucking circumvent? Like, I really... It's not cheating, but there's definitely a level of exploiting of using, like, Discord calls. I can't stand it. And it's the going rate now. It's the going thing. Like, you know, if you want to communicate with your squad in a game, then I should be able to hear it. And then that then means that you have to play with a certain amount of noise discipline. Now, I know I talk a lot, so of all the people that are talking about, you know, noise discipline, it's me. But yeah, it's one of those things. Got ya. But yeah, that's, you know, again, that's just me. I am minority player in a lot of aspects, so I won't be catered for in those sort of aspects. Like, you know, and the thing is, I then play games the way that I want to play them, and I can't complain even if I'm giving myself a disadvantage because I've chosen to do it that way. So I can't whinge about it. But there you go. Like, it's little things like on Onward. If you want to duck in Onward, you actually have to duck in Onward. It's the same as I understand it. It's the same as I understand it in Ghosts of Tabor, which I really respect. But then if people choose to play the seated option, which is really weird for VR, if you ask me, we're not taking damage still. We're still going to feign weakness. Hello, Neon. Same time as the eating 7 chickens in 30 seconds video. Same time. In cinemas near you, if you're the same guy. No, I get that. Hello, Ken. And what I was getting at there is that, as I said, I'm all for accessibility, but there are certain accessibility options that people that don't need to be using them use. So, for instance, Ghosts of Tabor. And let's get this done first. Finish this second. But yeah, it annoyed me. Yeah, you won't be able to hear me over all of this probably. That might have been enough. Don't say it. It annoys me in Ghost of Tabor. I like the fact that to duck you actually have to duck. It annoys me that in seated play you can then press a button to duck. And that's not right, because then all of a sudden I was thinking like, hey, cool, I'm standing, and if other people are standing and they want a duck, you know, they have to duck. And no, they can just change it to seated mode, sit down, and then gain the ability to duck. So there's my fucking clapped out knees going up and down and at it, and they're having an easy time of it. I don't know, as I said, Ken, I'm all up for accessibility, but there are fine lines that need to be drawn, especially with things that would give other players advantages. Oop, wrong one. Right. And so all, like, you know, for me, I mean, you know, again, my tune may be completely changed in 20 years. Oh shit! Fuck! Never go through the purple corridor, this is why. Fuck! I was listening to you lot chatting. So, yeah, never go through that. I missed out on some chests then, I was just in fucking autopilot. This looks different. I've never seen it in green here before. Like, this is what I'm talking about. I didn't think skyboxes are that difficult to do and can look quite good even on the Quest 3. But, yeah, strange. I literally let one of my own tips slips. I was talking about accessibility. But yeah, this one's a nice easy one. So, a lot of the tips that you can get for a boss, like, where are these throughout the game to give you little clues as to how to actually fucking play it? But having these are nice, and there was a time when you only got one clue, and you couldn't press trigger to cycle between the tips. But now you can press trigger, and it'll tell you everything that I'm going to use to beat this guy. Savagery will tire after using intense attacks. That's the time to strike. Savagery can launch surprise attacks from above. Well, that one's obvious, but you just don't shoot him. Savagery is fast. These things we know. But we should be fine on this. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to blaze him, run away, wait for him to get tired, and then blaze him again. We are going to use our guns, not our magic. Hopefully this guy's no different on PC VR. This is a Quest 3, mate. I don't usually the PC VR, but today I am making a special exception. Yeah, he's easy. One of the things that I didn't mention in my tips and tricks vid, I'm usually just standalone as well, Neo, but one of the things that I didn't mention in my tips and tricks vid, hello, bye-bye, nice punch, asshole, is that when so at this point, when he goes to his second form, he sheds all his armor. So you don't need to... well, you can do him without. But now, I'm not going to be using bullet time. I'm just going to be running away. And we'll run, bye-bye. You do eventually run out of wall. When his bar goes from yellow to, I think it's red, is when we can get him. You can actually shoot him and do damage without him teleporting. When he's throwing rocks. Ow! Yeah, this guy can, like, absolutely fucking slam you. Almost dead then. I mean, you can just take levitation off I don't do it that often. Oh, that was rubbish. Throw a rock. If he throws rocks, you can shoot him without him teleporting. This is the other way as well, is you can point your pointer away to do your jumps away from him. Ow. Fuck. Oh, of course he is.
Good to see the sweepers can still get results.
Lovely. Excellent. We've actually got a decent amount of health, but yeah, if he traps you, as he almost did then as well, and slams you a couple of times, he can absolutely do you. A couple of things that I didn't put in: you can shoot him when he's in his heated up form, when he is throwing a rock, and he won't teleport. But the problem is, you could shoot him just as he's finished throwing his rocks. He then could skip teleport towards you and then slam you and kill you, which is why I didn't put it in the video. So, but there you go. And no, you don't need slow time in this, but there's, like, I wouldn't like this game half as much if the game didn't put me into slow time automatically when I go upside down. Because even, I think, if I was constantly spinning through the air, there'd be no point, because it would be too fast for me to be able to do anything. Right, Reaver, increased damage. We don't like increasing our damage, really. Genius exploit, though. Reduce mana cost of movement and bullet time. This you can trust. I mean, the thing, as I said, I could play this game without slow time and do alright at it, but then I'd have to completely forego flipping and jumping and all of the cool games. So it almost reeks of the same sort of people that used to say to me, oh, in Death Unchained you're only good because of your slow time crutch. It's like, it's how the game's designed to be played. The lever action's very good. The lever action, in combination with what I was telling you about with the libertarian skill, means that you can fire and do the lever action and reload, and then bring it back down and fire. Lever action, reload, fire. Lever action, reload, fire. And you'll constantly have decent level bullets as well. Or at least I think that's how it works. Right. So again, we've got lots of upward arrows, and look at this, we've got a decent amount of souls now. We want to go back and level up as many of these as we can. We're also, I was going to talk about classes before we finish this up as well. And so again, we are at the end of the act. Rest at the hall. Yeah, no, I'd agree. I'd agree.
Sins. None are spared its pull.
So we've got loads of extra stuff now as well, because we've gone up. So extra stuff-wise, and then this is where it starts to get, I think, a little bit overwhelming. As you level up your character, you unlock more weaponry. Cosmetics, we don't need to worry about those right now. And various other bits and pieces, including new blessings. And so this is one of those games where a good roguelike, if it's designed well, doesn't suffer. Some roguelikes do, where you've unlocked, at the start you don't have much, so you kind of get a decent build every time, or you can rely on certain things. This game could have been one of those ones where you unlock so much that you never get what you want. But there is the element in this game where you can actually now choose things to go out with, and you get quite a wide choice of stuff when you're making your choices as well. There's a lot, I'll be honest with you, there's lots of things that I do want to try to do with this game. I'll do it on the quest version when I've got it all fully unlocked. But as I said, part of it, I suppose, for me, is the style is got by going upside down, a lot of the magic is very powerful, but when you do the big casts upside down, it breaks you out of slow time. So that means guns are the option, and upside down and at distance are the options, and that's how you get your style up. And then style gets us style gets us money and souls, and then money and souls gets us leveled up, and then leveling up gets you new weaponry. And so I want to basically get everything top level and sorted before I start playing with the stuff that is just basic. Like, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight, do you? And a lot of these enemies, if they are not charging you down, they are throwing stuff at you, and we are always maneuverable enough to get away from them. So for me, it's basically the sword, the axe, the mace, and even all of the unholy weapons that you can use of the enemies, that big old Nadachi katana thing, and the butcher's cleaver and all that lot. They're all really, really good, but I just haven't put the time into them because gunplay and magic is just better. And again, it all works upside down really well and works in with the style. Right, let's get some upgrades done. We want to upgrade our pistols. Yes. Like, even this is quite confusing because you have to find rank 1, and I can see as somebody new coming into this game them getting fucking lost in the upgrade menus. I love all of this shit, but it isn't as intuitive as it could be, and maybe that is a problem as well. But yeah, as you can see, we've now got enough souls to stay on top of potentially everything that needs leveling up, and that is how we want to stay. Yeah, there we go, perfect. This is why you don't buy cosmetics and you don't buy the extra bits and pieces. The one thing that I will say is, if you've only played it for a couple of hours, you haven't put enough time into it. Now, I don't like saying that because you should feel compelled to play a game from the beginning. I don't want to be one of those, it gets better, but it's one of the, like, for me, I was instantly sucked in with this because I could see where it was going. But then, like, you can levitate them, and so that's part and parcel of the lightness. Remember as well that we're also in hell as well, so, you know, maybe things work a little bit differently down here. I mean, what's not to like about those ragdoll physics? So, but then, as you say, with that lightness, that's probably part of the thing that puts me off with the melee, because there isn't quite as much feel to it as there is with the gunplay and there is with the magic. So the last thing that I was going to talk about before we go is, oh yeah, that you definitely, this is definitely a power trip simulator, and it doesn't start out like that. It doesn't start out like that. So this is one of the things to note as well. As soon as you see a class, and you can find the class by going to this top left, you'll always start off as an all-rounder. And as you go through the levels of an all-rounder, every 5 levels you'll get something. An additional blessing you get to keep before you start a run. And all of these are basically made at making you more powerful when you begin. If early on you don't know what you want to do, just stick to all-rounder. As you find out what you like, be it gunplay, magic, summoning, hand-to-hand, or whatnot, change as soon as possible. The sooner you get this, the class, up to level 50, the easier you will find it, the game, and to level up. And then you can always switch over to another one. There is a lot of content. Yeah, I've had a look. I haven't leveled up a lot of them much, but I've had a look through all of them. The what am I? I'm using Acrobat myself. Acrobat I've had up to level 50, and I think I've got All-Rounder up to level 50. Spellcaster's really good, and it is awesome with all of these extra orbs that you get. The only thing that I don't like about all of these orbs, though, is that they all float around you and get all up in your face, and that can be a bit of a pain in the arse. And good times. And the Vanguard one is probably the one that I will do last, because, I mean, one of the things that is quite good, you can deflect and block enemy attacks and projectiles with your head. Brilliant. Deflect and block enemy attacks with your face. What a class. So, and then the other two that you can't see there are the one that I use, which is Acrobat, which just basically is stat increases and then more jumps before you have to land. And then the other one is the Summoner class, which just basically allows you to summon loads and loads of doggos, which we will have a look, hopefully, another time. And this is another place for us to use our souls, but I would recommend, we don't need anything. We've got everything we need right there across pistol and fire magic to complete the game many times over, although we now do have the Tempests, so they'll be going on. Those are the Tempests from Sairento. Pop. And that'll do us for now. And on that bullets and bombs and sword and magic bombshell, we will end it there. This has been the fantastic Hellsweeper VR running on PC VR on the Quest 3. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.